So welcome back to to another elimination match over here, this time from Group B. Legion B, DauT+Slam versus NVGCS. You will soon figure out or find out why that is the team name of Vodka+Rise, the Italian team. We'll have Hideout Forest Pond for Vodka+Rise as their home maps, Regicide Fortress and Team Acropolis for Legion B. We will soon join up once again with Hallis, but before that, let's take a look at the introduction of the teams.
Non voglio giocare con shades, or in English, I don't want to play with shades, is a team made up of the Italian pro players Vodka+ and Rise, who also played together during the 2020 World Cup. They will take part in two pools for the first time. Both Vodka and Rise have improved a lot in recent times. They're experienced, they have great skills, and they have played together extensively. Vodka, having recently triumphed in the European Rumble, should be the driving force behind the team. Expect him to use powerful archer civilizations, while Rise supports him with cavalry, likely with civilizations from the second pool. Vodka and Rise are a solid team, but they have not been tested in the qualifiers, and this lack of experience could reveal to be a disadvantage coming into the tournament. They play in Group D, more open, where all teams have a shot at making the top two. While they are the underdogs, anything is possible with adequate preparation. In spring 2019, Jordan had returned after a long break and was signed up as the third member of Team Secret for Doubles Age, teaming with the Viper and Tattoo. Left out, DauT+Slam decided to join forces, and as Secret Team won the tournament. A surprisingly successful duo, they participated in the first two pools as well, where they reached the semi-finals. Considering their respective qualities, it should perhaps not have been unexpected, as they are both active, talented, and experienced players. While they had not played together since 2016, they immediately found their marks. DauT was leading with archers and Slam supporting with cavalry. They've both evolved since, however, and it would not be surprising to see them switch roles this time. 2 years ago, Slam and DauT narrowly beat Vietnam Legends before losing to MBL, Hera, and Nico. They're both in good tournament shape, but considering the level of competition, that alone will not be sufficient to reach the final stages. They will need to prepare well and work on their coordination to be able to challenge the top teams.
Alright, so let's welcome back Hallis, our co-caster for this set as well. So, welcome back, Hallis.
Hello.
Alright. So let's take a quick look at the civilizations, because I'm very certain that you will have something to say about Sicilians.
Yes, I was very surprised to see that banned instantly. Kind of odd, considering that's been one of the series we've kind of consistently seen first picked for the opponent's team. Kind of weird that they'd ban it. Yeah, I don't know what you think about that.
I feel like that is an interesting mind game element of two-pool setting, is that you might actually ban a civilization that you don't want your opponent to give you, because Legion might just say, hey, Sicilians is so bad that we don't want to have it in our second pool and want to avoid getting that from our opponent. So that might be the reason behind that. Regicide Fortress is a very strong map for Legion, and they went for Team Acropolis, another proven map. Whereas the Italians, apparently they're afraid of Team Islands against DauT+Slam. I think that's legitimate. And they go for two of the semi-closed maps, Hideout and Forest Pond.
Yeah, one thing I will say is that if you look at the Italians draft, like they kind of drafted a lot of kind of aggressive archer civs, right? Like I don't know about you, but none of those really scream, other than Chinese. Like Chinese are great on Regicide Fortress, obviously, but none of those really scream like kind of closed maps too much to me. Like I guess Britons are solid and Saracens are solid. Persians they're okay. I don't know. I just think the draft it's a bit interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I think the best is to jump into game number one. I'm at 9 seconds, so
Yep.
Whenever
10,
you are ready, we can actually go for it. So Legion B versus Vodka and Rise. Let's do a countdown at 3, 2, 1, and go. So welcome to another elimination match, this time from Group B. we're going to have a Kumans play here for Rise in red, with his teammate Vodka playing in yellow Chinese. A very, very strong combo for Arabia. Versus Malians from DauT in green, and we will have Ethiopians from Slam in blue. So we have fairly balanced Arabia civilizations for both teams, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only interesting pick is would you not have expected humans to be on Ridgeside Fortress, maybe? Because they're so good on that map.
Yeah,
Right?
you're absolutely right. But I think that might have been the reason, like the main reason I believe why Game Legion didn't go for it is because they lost to Salts in the previous round, and Salts used Kumans on Ridgeside Fortress, but Salts ended up losing that game. So maybe they felt like, okay, we know how to counter that. So it seems like Game Legion is not that much of a fan of Kumans on Ridgeside Fortress from what we have seen.
That makes sense. So if I guess if the Italian team did their homework, they'll know that obviously DauT+Slam know how to counter the Q and pick on Ridgeside Fortress. So then it makes sense to pick them on Arabia. And yeah, honestly, both civs, both civ combinations seem pretty even. I mean, I think I maybe prefer Malians, Ethiopians a little bit, but I think it's very, very even. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, I think it's very even as well. I think that the main thing is that Kumans can't just go for a 2TC boom here. They have to play scouts, and you will delay that second town center probably until you click up to Castle Age and build it while you're going up. In post-Imperial, obviously the Paladins being available to Kumans will be a big thing. And also the mobility of the cavalry early on, as long as your opponent doesn't have husbandry, is going to be big. But I think Ethiopians and Chinese are both very, very good as archer civs, and I would actually consider them fairly even. But until late Imperial, I like Malians a little bit better as your cavalry civ.
Yeah, I agree. But the problem is with Malians is that it's very easy for it to go to kind of late Imperial. If you're already like, if a game is an imp, then it's kind of hard to finish it sometimes, like if it's even. Yeah, you're right. I think Malians are definitely, the eco is a little bit better, right? Depending on when you get the town center out. Like if Cumans goes really early TC, maybe you can argue they have a little bit better economy, but it's very hard to do that without being punished. But yeah, Malians, yeah, obviously with the potential of getting Farimba and like, you know, having that wood bonus might make things a little bit easier up until like Cumans can get Paladins, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially considering that without the extra town center, Kumans basically don't have any kind of eco bonus. It's worth pointing out that the Kuman team bonus, the stronger Palisade walls, can be helpful on Arabia, so Vodka and Rise will have the benefit from that when it comes to defending as feudal age aggression or so.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, you have better walls, and I guess that's really helpful if you're Chinese, right? You can wall quite quickly anyway, with the extra bills. But otherwise, not the biggest of deals.
All right, so we have the second boarding already for Rise, whereas Slam apparently is going to delay that a tiny bit. It looks like we have a fairly passive Dark Age. Everybody is just pushing in a deer for now.
Yep. Yeah, it's just been a pretty chill game. It's no laming or anything, not like the last series where the Vietnam players really did like to go for that early lame.
Yeah, I feel like none of these players are really that much of a lamer boys. Like DauT+Slam, they're more of the slow, take it easy type of a players, whereas Vodka and Rise, they're the underdogs, so they could definitely try laming, but they may feel like it's too big of a gamble for them to take, and if it fails, they will fall quite a bit behind when it comes to, you know, the ability to push the ear, or just fight with the scouts overall.
Yeah, I think it's probably just not in their wheelhouse necessarily of players that they're confident with. And I think in general, you don't really want to be doing things you're not like fully comfortable with. Like even if you are the worst player, like the worst thing you can do is make yourself even worse by doing stuff that you don't really, you know, you haven't practiced or like, you know, that you're not particularly like great at doing. So I don't mind them not aiming, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Slam's gold mine is actually very, very exposed, and he's gonna go for some tight walls, so defending that is going to be tricky, and we might see a man-at-arms opening from him as a result. Other side, I feel like Vodka's base is a lot more legitimate, although the berries are a little bit exposed. And Rice, on the other hand, has a beautiful base. So does DauT have it, although his back is a little bit exposed, but should be volable still.
Yeah, honestly, I think everyone's map is extremely exposed. Like, I can't see how any of these guys are going to be able to wall this particularly quickly. So there should be a lot of potential for early aggression. But it seems like everyone has kind of had quite a passive Dark Age. It definitely feels like the Italian team is walling a little bit more. But then I say that though, and DauT and Slam have both got a couple of villagers walling as well. So like it seems like both teams will be able to, kind of play a little bit passively in the early game here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you are the Italian team, you definitely want to wall a lot because your in terms of mechanical skills, DauT and Slam are much better. So you want to be real sure that you don't give them an easy option to run into your base with a couple of scouts and kill villagers.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure mechanically. I'd say the DauT and Slam maybe a little bit better mechanics, but I'd say the decision making is probably where the difference is. I think DauT is just he's got great decision making. He's a very intelligent player, same as Slam. So I feel like I don't think we'll see them massively like out micro, but we'll probably see them have really solid tactical decision making.
Yeah, exactly. Slam is gonna go for the small walls around his base, goes for one range play for now. His opponent is gonna go for double range play though with the Chinese, and one thing that Chinese will have as advantage over Ethiopians is a much better eco, especially when you consider the farming bonus of Chinese. That's where I think it really starts to shine in comparison to Ethiopians that will most likely have a couple of farms without horse color. No bid axe from either of the archer players just yet.
Yeah, that's a good point. And okay, no, Slam is building the second archery range now. He just kind of was focusing on getting himself walled up. I mean, Slam has done a great job though. Like if you compare him to Vodka, like he's already basically fully walled, and Vodka's still got a lot of walling to do. So I think they can probably be confident to move out when they want to. Whereas like you have to probably see the Italian team sit back for a little bit until Vodka is walled. Otherwise, you're just so exposed to counterattacks.
Yeah, exactly. He's going for some very ambitious walls here, but as long as there is no archer support from Slam, the Spearman, the Scouts should actually allow this one to be finished. DauT is gonna go for the big walls, though. He knows that he's not gonna get pushed, so he will, like, wall off 15% of the map for himself.
Yeah, I mean, it's so nice to be able to take this much map control. Like, but the trouble is that, I mean, some of these walls, like, he's not really going to be able to defend that well. Like, this one on the right is so far away that no villagers can reinforce it. And same with the one on the left, right? So they will kind of need to keep the map control if they want to prevent, armies from penetrating DauT space.
Yeah, that is absolutely right. So, now we get a bit of a scout scuffle over here. So far, by the way, there is, I believe, 0 kills in this game, indeed. We're 30 minutes in and not a single unit died so far.
Yeah, I mean, we did kind of call it right at the start, right? It was going to be a passive opening just with the way the teams are playing, right? Like, I don't think either of these teams are like the Vietnamese team, like in the last series, where they're just all out aggression. First opportunity they get, they're sending the villagers units forward. I think it's going to be kind of maybe not relaxing game, but it's more of a positional one. Oh, actually, if you see on the right, Rise actually managed to find loads of archers before.
That's a beautiful find, I have to say. Every time you pick off archers with scouts, that's an excellent find, because scouts don't scale well into Castle Age, archers do, so that is an excellent find. And
yeah, this is huge, because now what happens is Vodka moves out with his archers, right? And you still have the scout meat shield. Oh, I don't like that engagement.
Yeah,
Rise,
that is not a good engagement for Rise. Even though he technically took a reasonable one, it looks like Vodka is playing this one super safe though, so even though now they could have the archer numbers advantage, they are not moving out up until now.
He's moving out now. I'm not sure why they didn't move out more quickly. Because as soon as you get that advantage right now, like in these 2v2s, you have to go straight. Like as soon as you get any kind of lead in archer numbers, like the first thing you have to think is damage, right? Because these games snowball so quickly. Like losing 5 archers can in some instances, if you play correctly, be the difference between like winning and losing a game.
Yeah. Now, DauT and Slam will try to track down the opponent's army, but they will struggle to do so, and the Dead Lion is going to show them the way. That's so important. The Dead Lion is what DauT spotted, and that's how he knows that the archers are heading towards Slam.
I mean, honestly though, I don't know about you, but this is really sloppy from GL, honestly. Like, in no instance should Slam be moving out like alone like that, like without DauT at least knowing where he's going and like having his army accompany him. And now again, like the way that Slam's moving out his archers, he's kind of he's alone. Like, it just didn't feel like the synergy was there in the early parts of the game. If they run in here, this could be huge damage on Slam.
Yeah, it's already about the idle time. You can just, if you take a look at the numbers, this is a fight that they can take, although you don't really want to lose all those archers for Vodka, but it's about the idle time on Slam, and Slam isn't producing any archers. DauT is on the way to Castle Age as the first player, but Slam, especially the Wood eco, is problematic for him, a lot of idle time, and I think this was great value for Vodka+Rise. They would just save their army, and they might head towards DauT now, because they know that both armies are at Slam's base.
Yeah, honestly, I think they made a mistake. I don't know if they knew, but if Vodka just went to that hill on the left, this game could have been completely different. But they completely missed out on that. And if he'd just camped that hill and denied the gold for as long as he could, like, even if you trade archers for archers, like, that's so much better than what they did. Now, like, you know, Slam lost one villager, but he's not really in that much trouble. He's a little bit late to Castle Age. I think he's about to click up now. Yeah, he's a little bit late to Castle Age. And his archer number is not that great. But imagine if they just sat on that hill, and like Slam wouldn't have been able to build any archers, man. Like, they'd be so far behind in military numbers.
I absolutely agree. Now there is going to be +1 defense as well for Vodka, and I feel like if they just wait until the crossbows are here for Vodka, that once again could be a very, very nice find, or they could just go for the Wood line and pick off another villager from Slam.
Yeah, honestly, the Italians are playing really well, man. This is really, really good team synergy. Like, the army's always together. Like, they always know what's going on. They're always looking for damage. Like, I don't know. I think they're having a great start to this first game.
Yeah, they have an excellent start, and like DauT is up to Castle Age in a moment, but Rise will catch up very soon as well, and Rise will have a second TC immediately because he's Kumans that is getting that TC up very fast. Now Slam's archer numbers are actually good, so I think that Vodka has to wait until Castle Age.
Well, I mean, if you compare the archer numbers, they're not that great. I mean, Vodka has 10 more archers than Slam does. So, like, if Vodka can hit this timing of all those extra archers and maybe, you know, sit on that gold, this could be really, really dangerous for the game Eliminaion.
Now, this is interesting, because DauT reaches Castle Age, Vodka starts running back because he wants to play it safe, doesn't lose the archers. But what he doesn't know is that DauT will go for a free TC boom with double bit axe and heavy blow, no +2 defense. If they just stay with the archers there and wait until crossbowman, they could have destroyed Slam here, and this could be a missed opportunity.
Yeah, but I think it's a bit harsh because they know as soon as Vodka gets to Castle Age, they can just run straight back, right? Like, it's not like they're giving it up for that long. I do see what you mean, though. Like, if they wanted to take a huge risk, they could have done. I think they're always worried that, though, that like DauT gets an enemy +2 and wipes, you know, those archers for free, right? Like, that's kind of worst case scenario.
Yeah, exactly. There is going to be crossbow coming in as well for Slam, who goes for a triple rage approach, so he's gonna go for the aggressive Castle Age play while DauT is booming. But Ballistic's already on the way for Vodka, and as you said, the crossbow numbers are much better. And
this is gonna be really tricky, man. Without +2, like, you know, that gold is so exposed. They don't even have to do anything. All they have to do is sit on the gold, and Slam is in huge trouble. Like, if you're Game Eliminaion, how do you hold this?
Yeah, this is the problem. Like, you get 19 crossbows against 28, and if you lose that gold mine, Slam doesn't really have any other good gold mines to fall back to. And DauT is going for a very eco-heavy approach, fast stumbling as well for Vodka. And, like, as you said, they just need to camp down that gold mine, and Slam is going to have a very, very underwhelming gold income, so to say. He can't even afford ballistics, so he's got the university but no ballistics.
Yeah, I mean, DauT has done a really, really excellent job with the 9 numbers, though, so that is one thing that they have going for them. And the thing is that DauT went quite greedy, right, with the TCs, but he's kind of still on the same village account as Rise anyway, so, like, this game is quite even. I honestly thought maybe the Italians could have done a little bit better here, maybe a little bit more damage. I think it would have been tricky to do that, right?
Yeah, I think they were waiting for tumbling right now, but you are right. They are jumping around on the outside, but they're not really pressuring that gold mine, so Slam gets away with at least some sort of gold income. DauT now jumps on the opponent, but it's only +1 defense against almost fully upgraded crossbows in Castle.
He did a great job, though. This is very tricky to say who's winning this fight.
Yeah, this is very tricky, but I feel like the Italians have the edge here. And at the end of the day, that's still hill advantage for the Italians with tumbling on those crossbows and +1 defense.
Yeah, I think that was you. I think you're right. This is a great fight. Remember, if they lose this fight, this game snowballs because, like I was saying before, like, actually no, they have to pull back now.
Yeah, that was very, very nicely done by DauT+Slam. A little bit sloppy from the Italians, to be honest, because DauT, what he did was just focus down the crossbows, and at the end of the day, Slam is safe, and you did say that I feel like they could have punished Slam a lot more for this. Slam lost 2 Voyagers and some idle time. But yeah, this could have been a lot more damage done.
Yeah, I think what happened was I think maybe Rise mismicroed a little bit, and DauT did a great job of getting those knights like in the face of the crossbowmen, and just like kind of drawing their attention. And Slam did a great job also to kind of focus down the crossbows. It's like I think it kind of shows you how high the decision-making level of the Game Legion players are. Like even though they're kind of on the ropes a little bit, like another team would have just lost the game there, like they still managed to. At least it's somewhat even, right? They've not, capitulated.
Yeah, now, I think what is a big problem for the Italians that they don't have +2 defense on those knights. If they had +2 defense, they could punish that blob of crossbows a lot easier, and that's basically the reason why DauT and Slam are able to move out, because those knights on the opposing side don't have +2 defense.
Yeah, I mean, neither does DauT, though. So, I mean, it's also on the way for Rise as well. So, like, they should, in theory, when Rise gets +2, there should be a fight that they can take. But it always gets tricky when you start having Ethiopian crossbows on the hill, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly. Although, those Ethiopian crossbows will still have basically the same fire rate as crossbows with Thumb Ring. And there is extra armor as well for Vodka. So Vodka's crossbows are still slightly better. But once Thumb Ring kicks in for Slam, Slam's crossbows will become much, much better overall.
yeah, that makes sense, yeah. Also, Slam has done a great job now. He's also on 3 town centers. So he is behind a little bit economically, but not by too much. So I think at this point, I think we have to say this game is pretty even, right? Even though the score says maybe a little bit of an advantage for the Italians, I think it's quite evenly balanced. Yeah.
It's very even because army numbers are very close. The army quality now is slightly better for DauT and Slam, but the eco now is a quite considerable advantage for Vodka and Rise. And really, Ethiopians will have the better archers, but the Chinese will have the better eco overall. And I believe that they want to sandwich that army in between them now with knights coming from the right side from Rise.
Yeah, this is a really big fight. I think the GL will just run from this, but can they though? I think they have to fight here, right?
Yeah, I think DauT and Slam have to fight this, and remember, DauT still doesn't have +2 defense on those knights. And I think
huge.
This is a huge fight here, and I think it's very, very good for the Italians, because now they will be able to destroy the entire army of Slam over here.
Yeah, this is a problem, right? Those crossbows are about to get completely wiped. Honestly, this is looking really good for the Italians. Like, oh,
Yeah.
but this is nice, really nice micro from Slam.
Yeah, he's running for a hill, but now the knights get a good surround, and I feel like if you add it to the fact that the eco for the Italians is slightly better, I feel like you get a very decent result. So it's 12 knights against 4. And Slam just keeps losing crossbows over here. Also, like, DauT has some knights trickling in, but they just get picked off one by one if they do so.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a mistake from DauT. Like, I don't know why he doesn't have +2 defense. I mean, you've got like 30.
Maybe he forgot it. Like,
yeah, maybe he forgot it. Yeah, but he's got 4 stables, right? Surely you must be realizing something's going wrong. Like,
yeah, like, it's so weird because he went for Heavy Blow and Bow, and we did mention how greedy that was. And look at the imp timing of Vodka, by the way. He's gonna click up to Imperial, and so far I'm actually very, very impressed with the Italians, because this is not an easy matchup. DauT and Slam is no joke. But so far they're absolutely up for a task, and really, it might just be DauT and Slam not being properly warmed up or so. Because indeed, it's a little bit sloppy from DauT still having just so little upgrades on those knights. It's not just about +2 defense missing. If you compare it to the red knights, they will have +2/+2 in a moment.
yeah, that's what I mean. You can't really justify it because usually you want to be getting forging at least at some point in cast stage, or at least like maybe thinking about it. Like, so you should be able to see that you don't have +2. Yeah, it's just kind of odd, really. Like, especially like when Slam's map was so bad, right? Like, to play that greedy, I don't know if that makes. Oh, this is a huge fight in the middle, though.
Yeah, and it's extremely important because DauT is going into Imp, so if he can actually keep his knight numbers high, that could be big, but those knights are so weak for DauT. Those are awful knights, to be honest, and I think DauT will soon realize DauT is going forging, man. That makes zero sense in this situation.
Okay.
We praise DauT decision making, but that feels like just forgetting about the upgrade of defense.
Yeah, I mean, this fight is still very close, but yeah, I think it's about to snowball, right? And the thing is, DauT just traded all of his army there, right? So what is this imp gonna do when you have like 3 cavaliers to upgrade? You know, like it's not really gonna be that big of a deal. The real question is, how do the Italians follow up, right? Like, Do they just go in and kill Eco now, or like I guess that left side of Slam's base is super exposed.
I feel like you kind of have to focus down DauT now because you just destroyed Slam's army. Because DauT is still 1 minute away from casting. That's gonna be a long 1 minute with +1/+1 knights only. He's making camels, but I mean the camels will be great against the knights, but you are up against 30 crossbows.
Yeah, camels. That feels really weird. Camels without +2, like what? Hello, that's super odd against this many soon-to-be Arbalesters. That really doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, and I mean, DauT is trying his best, but now he's going full camel. He's gonna have like 7 knights, and even if he gets to Imperial, he's just now getting +2 defense in, and like Slam will cook up to Imperial at the same time as Rise will. That's actually a bad fight for Rise over there, but it is 53 crossbows that are now orbs versus 17 only.
Yeah, I just this it's very. I mean, DauT is he's a great like tactical player. I just don't see why why he's building camels. I mean, you're gonna be against Arbs, right? Like, what are the camels gonna do, right?
Yeah, and look at this counterattack from Vodka. I love that quite a bit. He's going to hit Slam's Eco, and Slam's got nothing to defend with.
Yep, yeah, I think that's an amazing play from Vodka. That's really heads up, like focusing in 2 areas at once. Like Slam is worried about DauT because DauT's got 2 armies on him, and then Vodka in the meantime sends an army into his economy. I don't know about you, leader. This is looking really good for the Italians.
Yeah, this is looking really good, and honestly, if the Italians wanted to have a chance, I thought that has to be on their home maps because they're massive underdogs. But winning Arabia against your opponent is a massive, massive advantage in a set because if you win Arabia, all you have to do is just win your home maps after.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier said than done against people with the experience like DauT+Slam, but yes, all you have to do is win your home maps, that's true.
Yeah, absolutely, but I'm always saying that on your home maps, you are always supposed to be the favorite team if you bring in a good strategy.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So, like, DauT is going for heavy camo, but he's gonna have like 18 heavy camos, but how does he stop Arbalests? Slam is not in a position to just trade evenly against those Arbs.
Yeah, that's what I mean, like, imagine if those were like 20 Cavalier with Farimba or something, or like just 20 Cavalier generally, like surely that fight's just better for you, like even these Arbs, even though they'll probably all die, like this is not that bad of a trade. Like,
yeah, this is actually a very, very good trade. Especially if you consider how expensive heavy camo is and how many camos are being taken down here. And also if you consider that Slam's eco is still getting pushed soon with Rams.
Yeah, it's just kind of odd, honestly. The heavy camo play feels like you're not playing in conjunction with your teammate enough, honestly. Like, you should just never be in a position where you feel like, I need to go for heavy camo because, the other guy's so far ahead, for example. Like, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah, now here comes the train of Rams from Vodka. I like that quite a bit because Slam is going to be up to Imperial and he's got 37 crossbows, which is now comparable to Vodka's numbers. But Rams should actually start pushing Slam's gold mine, and it looks like we'll have Halbadier play, or at least Pikeman was teched into by Rise. Now it seems like they will go for the push, although this is not a good fight for Vodka.
Yeah, that's not a good fight, but he did plenty of damage with those. I think the goal should be now to just group the 2 armies together with the Rams, and then Vodka and Rise should be in good position.
We should not underestimate the fact that we talked about Imperial Age for Kumans with Paladins. That might have been the reason why DauT switched into camos, hoping that his teammate can catch up in ARB numbers, and then Farimba Cannon and ARB will beat whatever Vodka and Rise can bring in. But
well, that's true until Rise gets the upgrades. When Rise gets Paladin, the army is no longer better, and the Paladins are much better because they're obviously better at absorbing damage from the Arbalesters. So
yeah, you are right. And also massive eco lead for Vodka and Rise. DauT gets some raids in, but I mean, the Italians are already setting up trade here. They have fairly well-positioned defensive castles to protect that. Worst case scenario against the camos, the Kumans can also go for a couple of Kipchak to kind of hold them on temporarily.
Kipchaks get like 3-shotted by them. They have such low HP. Probably not the best idea. I think Haub would be better.
Yeah, Haub would be better. I totally agree. But with all those castles, I feel like a couple of Kipchaks is something that you could consider if you are in trouble. Although you're absolutely right, I don't really like that much. But I don't see any other way to stop the camos with just 1 barracks on the field. Siege Ram now in for Vodka, which will absorb a lot of arrow fire. This is a great fight.
Wait,
Well,
started terribly, but yeah, you're right. It's actually a good fight for the Italians. You're right.
this is a great fight for Italians
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
the Camels are not focusing down the Cavalier, and now the Arbs take it down. Rambo's also there to absorb some arrow fire, and even though those are Ethiopian Arbs, they don't have +4 defense, whereas these yellow Arbs do.
Yep. Yeah. And yeah, this is the difference, right, between Cavalier and Camel, right? Like, again, if those are like 40 Cavalier from DauT instead of 40 Camels, again, that's a different fight, right? Like, because at that point he would actually have the advantage, right, with Farimba and like an iron casting. So again, it's kind of weird.
Yeah, it's 34 army against 14. Look at the forwards from Vodka. He's already taking Slam's gold. Italians are establishing trade already, so they have the markets up. Or at least Rise has it, Vodka doesn't. But Paladin is almost in, and I mean, we have 17 heavy camos, but if there is no archer support, the Arbs will just eat them for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what I mean. Like, I think your timing with Marlins is probably with like kind of Cavalier Farimba, and then try and take a really snowbally fight, right? Your timing, I don't think is Camel. I mean, maybe like DauT is worried about the kind of the long term, like in Imp. But even then, maybe, I mean, Cavalier is probably more pop efficient when you're working together as a team, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. You have to work together, as you said, but I feel like if you just keep pressuring Slam will never be able to get to good Arbalest numbers. And you can see that both players from the Italian team is actually teching into Hub. That might be a bit of an overreaction, but now you can actually start adding Chukonu if you're Vodka, or just pressure the corner and try to completely deny trade, play for a long game.
yeah, I don't mind help, especially from Rise, because how are you going to lose this game, right? You're going to lose this game by being raided or like, you know, DauT taking a hit on the right-hand side, which he's looking to do, I think. Oh no, he's taking the gold, never mind.
DauT! Rise, on the other hand, goes free mining camps on that gold mine, and he can just send in like 2 Paladins here to clean up DauT.
Yeah.
Slam once again has good archer numbers, still missing +4 defense, and we shouldn't underestimate 40 for Imba Cavaliers, supported by 24 Arbs, because Vodka doesn't really have the art numbers to kill that many camos if there is ARB support from Slam.
Yeah, I think Vodka, well, he's not struggling for production. I don't know why he hasn't got the army numbers he does right now. Maybe some bad fights. It feels like he should have more than he does. But the position here is so strong, right? Like, they're literally a screen away from the trade. And usually that takes, you know, like hours of pushing to get there in a late game scenario, but they're already there like 45 minutes in, right? So this is already like it's already on a kind of a knife edge for the GL team, and if the Italians push any further forward, like there's not much they can really do if this game goes much later.
Yeah, and we have to consider that Slam is soon running out of gold. In fact, Slam still has 20 on gold somewhere, but I think that's his last gold mine remaining, because one of his golds is actually in the hands of Vodka, which helps quite a bit here as well.
Yeah, and also I just want to point out how impressive this is from Rise. On the right-hand side, you know, you're kind of how we said, you know, raiding could be a potential possibility. Like DauT's already building the stables, but look, like Rise already has, you know, Hallis pumping out to defend that gold and defend the trade.
Yeah, and
so that's really heads up from them, I think.
GL is starving for gold, so every camo that gets killed by a halberdier is massive value for Rise. Although DauT wants to castle drop the right-hand side corner, that might actually happen.
Yeah, that is okay. This starts to become a little bit pickle because, yeah, if he does get that castle drop up, they're kind of doing the same damage that Vodka and Rise are doing on the other side for free. Like, there's no way they should get that like without any contestation from the Italian players. Because there's a huge fight.
Yeah, DauT is diving in to snipe the traps, but I'm not sure if this is worth it for him because he's sacrificing a lot of camos, and without the camos, those orbs would just get overrun by Rams and Paladins. So I feel like this didn't do, or like DauT tried his best to stop that push, but losing that many camos pretty much ends the stalemate and suddenly swings the battle heavily in the favor of the Italians.
Yeah, is that a good fight for those Paladins though? It's hard to say.
I think it is. There's quite a lot of Paladins, Arbalest support, and they're also crawling forward more and more. Slam is out of gold, so every Arbalest that goes down is going to be increasingly difficult to replenish.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to the Game Legion though. They have made this game very difficult for the Italians. Like,
yeah,
they've not made it easy.
They're not giving up on this one easily, that's for sure. Especially with the castle drop on the right side, but it soon starts to become a 1v2 because Slam will have no gold to get any kind of military on the field.
But it's not like the Italians have that much more gold either, though, right? Like,
Vodka still has At least, Vodka has 2 gold mines under his control, though. Both of them belonging to Slam, which is a big deal. So he could send like 20 bills to do that. He's stacking into Elite Skirm as well, though. And it seems like the juice is running out from the Italians as well.
Yeah, it seems like I'm not quite sure how Game Legion is even managing to hold here. I mean, I think it's honestly just maybe experience and maybe some nerves from the Italians, but like it feels like they should have had a lot more trade up right now. And like this castle on the right from DauT was really good. Like that should never have happened.
Even though it's gonna go down.
Yeah, well, it will go down, but it's delayed the trade by quite a lot because they probably felt like, hey, we can't build the trade because there's a castle there, right? Like,
and if you look at Rice's eco, it's 108 compared to 140 from DauT. So indeed, the Italians had a really tough time getting their trade going, and that could backfire really badly, especially with the numbers advantage now heavily in the favor of Gamer Legion on the left. A 1 villager castle attempted right in the corner. If that castle goes up, I think GL is gonna die, regardless of how good fights they are taking.
Yeah, what's really impressive though is maybe that camel decision wasn't that much of a mistake. It's really hard to say. It felt like it was earlier on in the game, but DauT's done a really good job with his numbers and just always supporting Slam, even though sometimes they don't trade too well. Although yeah, the problem is like in fights like this, right, where like a couple of stray ones just run in, they die so quickly, right?
Yeah. And
it's kind of a lot of wasted gold.
I feel like the key is that the Italians, as we have a DauT castle here from Vodka, is that the Italians still have a hill to hold with here with the Arbs, and they have a much easier way going for Thresh. They already teched into skirmishers, they already have hubs on the right side, so they aren't that much reliant on gold as DauT and Slam are.
Yeah, I think the problem for the Italians though is that I feel like Rise has misplayed, honestly, a little bit. It feels like maybe that's a bit harsh because they played so well this game, but it feels like he's not really exerting any pressure on the map at all. Like he's just cleared up that forecast on the right. Like he's not really doing much to really make an impact on the game. It's kind of all Vodka at the moment.
And the castle on the left side will actually go up for DauT, which means that their trade will still be fine here. And if you take a look at trade card numbers, there's 17 for DauT, only 4 trade cards for Vodka, 0 for Rise. The transition to late game was very, very sloppy from the Italians.
Yeah, this is what I mean, right? Like, there's no really excuse, especially for like Vodka and Rise, to just have no trade. Like, if you think about it, right, this push is so good on the left because it's so close to the trade, right? But I mean, it doesn't matter if you're close to the enemy trade if you're not building your own trade, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, I mean, maybe Vodka has that gold, so he's probably like, maybe I have the future kind of secured a little bit.
One thing to consider is that while Slam is putting all the effort defending the left side and DauT also has to help there, the right side is getting overrun by a lot of Rams and Halberdiers. So that could be troublesome for DauT, as DauT is trying to get some stables in the middle for some raiding.
Oh, and that castle from Slam is actually going to go down. That's really huge.
And indeed. It's gonna go down, and you can actually just set up the traps and take down the markets to cripple the opponent's trade entirely.
Yeah, and if you look at the army comps now, I think Slam is going for light cab now, right? And DauT is mainly on skirm. No, no, sorry, Slam is on skirm, DauT's on light cab. So like they're clearly running out of gold, right? Like they're kind of forced to build these trash.
And the Italians still have mineable gold at Slam's base or on the right side, so that helps immensely. But more importantly, it's about the fact that Slam. Although Slam is going to dispatch quite a lot of arbs to the right side, but Halberdiers are running around everywhere. DauT loses the monastery with 3 relics, which is also important. But
yeah, this is what I was saying. But this is what Rise needed to do, and he's doing it perfectly right now. Like he needed to exert this pressure to kind of alleviate the DauT's pressure on this kind of forward left side base. So because Rise has now got these siege rams and all these halves in DauT's economy, like he can't really save the corner anymore, right? Because that was reinforcing so much.
Yeah, and
so I think at this point they should be able to close out, right?
Slam actually kept that castle alive with bombard cannons, and if you look at the middle of the map, suddenly DauT is coming in with raids. So this may not be over yet because the Farimba Light Cav is one of the best raiding units in the game, and I feel like they're actually doing more damage to the ecos of Vodka and Rise now than what they are suffering from.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the Vil counts are pretty even, right? There's only 10 between them. It's honestly, this game is still very close, right? Like, especially with it's such a great play from Slam to send those arbs to save DauT's economy on the right. Because now Rise can't actually push for free. Like, he'll just lose all the halves. He's got no answer really to the Arblasters.
Yeah, exactly. You have no answer to the Arbs. but that also leaves your left side open still. I feel like the Italians struggle to defend against the raids, and DauT is pushing Vodka down to 100 Voyagers. A lot of Voyagers are getting killed here, with still just non-existent trade for Vodka and Rise.
Yeah, I mean, this is the issue. I think there was the point, like, mid-imp where Rise just didn't capitalize on their advantage. Like, he needed 30-40 trade cuts. If they have, like, Halbs and a steady stream of Paladins, like, not even a huge amount of Paladins, just, you know, maybe 10, 15, 20, like, this game is so different, right? Like, but because he didn't do that, like, now they're kind of losing this momentum where they really shouldn't, this should never be happening, right? Like, they should never be being pushed back. It was kind of just because they didn't really make the right decisions. That being said, though, they are still in a pretty good position.
The Onagers coming in clutch. The Onagers are coming in really important here, and because DauT is now focusing on the raids, they don't have the cavalry on the left side, and the castle goes down. Hussar in now for Rise, and that's exactly what they need. They need the mobility to take down those light cavs that are raiding them. And with Slam's orbs non-existent on the left side, it looks like the trade for GL will completely collapse.
Yeah, honestly, this game was so volatile for Game Legion, right? Like, the second they lose, like, an army, they lose their trade.
And Slam's eco isn't great either. I mean, he's going to lose like 20 vills here, down to 84. He lost more than 100 Voyagers in this game, whereas DauT's raids are actually doing a lot of damage, but not enough to compensate for the blue player getting close to completely dying.
Yeah, definitely. I think this game was... I mean, first of all, it was really impressive from Game Legion to even hold for this long because of how far behind they were, but it was also really impressive from the Italians as well. To not only get that advantage, but their team synergy this game was simply better than Game Legion's.
Yeah. I feel like they massively outplayed GL in the first part of the game, but as the game went more and more forward, I felt like I'm starting to see more and more confidence from GL, so maybe it indeed was just a underwhelming warm-up from GL in this case. And now that they are warmed up, they will be a lot more reasonable when it comes to working together. Because indeed, the first part of the game felt a little sloppy from GL.
Yeah, I can definitely see what you mean. Like, the problem was, like, the game snowballed where they had that forward position and, you know, better economy, better units that are right next to their trade. So it was very hard to push that back, especially with the momentum being the way it was. But you could definitely see, like, that. I feel like it felt like this game, if you give, you know, like, maybe like Viper Tattoo, like, you know, the position of Vodka+Rise, this game would have been over like half an hour ago, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Italians definitely struggled finishing off this game, struggled with the transition to the trade especially, but like they had their markets up in the corners when Rise reached Imperial, and that was like an hour ago.
Yeah. It was a while ago, but I mean, to be fair to them, they've done so well to get to this point, and especially being the underdogs, to win Arabia is huge. Like, that's a really should be a huge confidence boost for them.
Yeah, that's a massive confidence boost, and now with Step Husbandry in, the light cav production is crazy for Kumans. They can just flood light cav so easily, and they were just running to DauT's eco now. Massive eco lead for the Italians, and sort of a surprise and kind of an upset here so far that the Italians are winning a game against Gamer Legion on Arabia.
Yeah, exactly. It's not just like any map. It's not their home map. It's Arabia. This is really impressive stuff from them.
And yeah, this looks really rough now for Gamer Legion, and indeed, DauT+Slam called a game. Vodka and Rise taking Arabia, and oftentimes Arabia is the most important game of the set, because, as I said, on your own home maps, if you have a good game plan, you should have the upper hand.
Yep.
And
yeah, it's super interesting. Do you think? I mean, is this going to be a really close series? Then maybe this could go all the way. You know, you never know.
Yeah, exactly. And if you just look at the matchups, you know, most people would have said, "Oh yeah, Gamer Legion B will just stomp them," but apparently that's not the case. And Vodka and Rise are here to stay for now. So, especially Vodka's KD is something that's worth mentioning. So, it's a very, very good KD overall. Like 615 against 520. Overall, he took way better fights throughout the game. But yeah, the trade profit is very underwhelming. Only 1200 gold for both Italian players, whereas DauT got 6k. DauT actually played really, really well in this game, by the way. It was just the fact that they lost too much army in like mid-late Castle Age to be able to compensate.
I think DauT played okay, but I can't think you can say DauT played well because his +2 was so late that it cost him so much. It cost him a lot of snowball, like in especially one fight. I remember like when DauT clicked imp, like if he had +2 there, then maybe they even snowball that fight and win the game.
Yeah,
He
you're
also
right.
he also had a really questionable early heavy camel choice. I mean, I think in the end it was a okay decision. I just think maybe like it's hard to kind of justify it, especially when they were kind of fighting mainly R-blasters. So yeah, I think DauT played solidly macro-wise. Like he had a great game with his economy, but I think some of the decisions, like some of the things that actually like went on in the game, were not amazing.
Yeah, exactly. As you said, the +2 defense missing might have lost the game for them. But it looks like we will have Vodka+Rise with potentially the hardest game coming up for them, because we're going to Regicide Fortress, a map where DauT+Slam seem to be unbeatable so far. I'm at 10 seconds whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. Just let me know.
Alright, let's do 3, 2, 1, and go. So welcome to Regicide Fortress. We'll have DauT playing as Bulgarians in green over here. To the south of him is going to be Mayans for Slam in blue. Other side, Vietnamese for Vodka in yellow and Burgundians, interestingly, for Rice in red. What are your thoughts about this Civ matchup? But wait a second.
I'm not sure.
Just
Yeah.
look at that horse color timing from Rice.
Do you need horse color that early? I mean, are you going to be building any farms? Yeah, I'm not sure, honestly. I think Vietnamese are pretty strong with the Rattans, right? Especially on this map. But I think, would you prefer mines, maybe?
It's hard to say. I feel like it depends on what the other two players do. Because if it's just Vietnamese between and Mayans, I like Vietnamese a little bit more. Rattan archers, bombard cannons available. Although I think the big question is if the other player, so Rice, is able to prevent an eagle switch. Because if it somehow turns out to be like two separate 1v1s, Mayan eagles will just eat the Rattans. So if they stay with their like original archer composition, then they should have no trouble with Vietnamese versus Mayans. On the other side, Bulgarians versus Burgundians. I feel like I like Bulgarians for a Hob and Siege push or Hob Onager push a little bit better.
Well, you have great hand cannons and great bombard cannons, right, with Burgundians. So I feel I'm not really sure how that matchup would play out in in a straight 1v1. I mean, probably be pretty even, right?
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting indeed. I think that Burgundians is something I can justify on this map because grabbing the early double bit accent horse color definitely helps your eco. So you already have bit accent as well for Rice.
Yeah, I'm not too sold on the super early horse color because I mean he just delayed his board timings a little bit. I mean maybe that makes a small difference, but it's not huge. But yeah, you're right. The early bit axe is really useful.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So I feel like early bit axe makes quite a lot of sense. But he could have prioritized that in comparison to horse color because he wasn't in the immediate need of farms.
Yeah, exactly. That's just why. But I mean, that being said, he has got like he has built 3 or 4 now with horse collar, so that's still pretty nice. All things considered.
Second board just now coming in here for Rice. It is worth pointing out that the relic spawns are fairly even here. Something that actually helps Vodka+Rise because the thing is that DauT loves to collect relics for himself, so does Slam. So having a relatively even relic spawn helps Vodka+Rise prevent falling behind by 4 or 5 relics.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, they're kind of all quite spread, right? Like there's not really that many behind. There's only one behind the Game Legion team's base. One thing I would say is I'm actually I know I criticized the build of Different Rise, but I'm actually really impressed by it because he's actually clicked up with 21 vills, right? Despite getting Bidax and Horse Collar right at the beginning. So like he's clearly got this build down, and clearly that was something like they prepared. So fair play to them for that.
Absolutely. So credits to Rice for this one, although I'm not sure if this is going to be a clean FC because he's reaching feudal in a moment and he's at 500 food. He might actually do like a fast feudal eco upgrades first and then click up a little bit later type build. Vodka's going to go for an FC.
Yeah, I think he should be okay. He'll probably sell some wood or something to when he goes to the market. Because
Yeah,
he has
you're right.
all the food from the
You're,
board.
you're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
He's floating a lot of wood, so makes sense for him to sell wood, and he'll probably get the eco upgrades while going up. So this is a beautiful build, I have to say, from Rise, and he should have an eco advantage over the others. In fact, honestly, it's not that big of an eco lead. So in terms of overall collected resources, Slam is actually ahead of him.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's one of the issues with Burgundians as a civ, honestly. Like, it feels like the advantage is just so minuscule sometimes. Like, it's like it doesn't really give you a huge benefit. But at least take the advantages when you can get them, right?
So Castle Age coming in here for Rise. The question is if you just go for a boom, or potentially try and poke around with a couple of coastal layers, because there is no defensive towers on this version of Fortress, so it's much more possible to play aggressive.
Yeah, I think we'll probably see maybe the Archer players build some units like DauT and Vodka, but I doubt we'll see too many Costeliers just because like you can't really get in, right? You have to build Petards, which is already like so much economy early cast stage. Like,
Yeah, I would not think about that as well. I think you can justify an aggressive play, but I don't think this is the situation. You might just, end up going for a boom into Flemish Revolution.
that's a great point. That'd be amazing. Yeah, I think the problem with civs like Burgundians and Bulgarians, like your kind of pushes are going to be a little bit clumsy just because you have no huge eco bonuses, right? And like with Burgundians, your eco bonuses like are quite slow to kind of kick in anyway. So like you're not really going to be hitting some really early timing. So I think those civs will be quite likely to boom. Yeah, if this game does kind of go like, say fairly even, both teams are happy to sit back and boom. I mean, whose team do you favor here? What civs do you favor?
I would say I prefer Bulgarians and Mayans a little bit, especially because I trust Bulgarian Cavaliers with stirrups a little bit better than those somewhat underwhelming Burgundian Paladins. But I think it's more about the players. So you could see that the big advantage that the Italians had in the previous game was in like feudal castle age or so. In post team, they got outplayed really heavily by DauT+Slam, but at that time the game was too far gone. But here, if this goes late, I actually prefer DauT+Slam by a massive margin.
Yeah, that's very true. And also, it's their home map, right? They'll presumably have like something prepared or like some kind of way they want to play, some kind of philosophy that they're going to follow. It'll be really interesting to see what they do. It looks like they're just all content to start booming here.
Yeah, it looks like we got full booms from everybody. So once again, a super passive start. We do have a Slam losing his scout at some point because he's down by 1 unit, but that's the only lost unit in the entire game so far.
Yep. I don't think we're even seeing... Yeah, no Rattans. I think, yeah, so this will just be a kind of boom, I guess, to Imperial. I mean, one thing I can see being a potential issue is that I think Rattans are better than Plumes, right? In a straight fight. So if you have like Rattans and Paladins versus Plumes, it's kind of tricky to see. Maybe the Plumes would be worse.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Like, Rattans and even the Burgundian Paladin could actually be better than Plumes and, like, Stirrups Cavalier. But I feel like it could be about timing. Earthside Fortress is often about timing. If you can land a good early push before your opponent is able to go for any military, then you can punish him very, very easily. So we might even see a hub and siege opening from DauT.
Yeah, I completely agree. Actually, that's right. That's what makes Bulgarians a little bit tricky, right? Like DauT could very easily go for the really cheap siege ram hub, and then obviously Rise has to. He can't do the Paladins because he's got to deal with a push from DauT, right? And then it's just a straight 1v1 Mayans versus Vietnamese, which you'd have to kind of favor Mayans with siege ram, right? Siege ram Plume or siege ram the Eagle, anything like that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they play. I mean, DauT is building the 4th TC now, which I really like. Obviously, using the Bulgarian bonus. So yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be a crazy boom from DauT, and you did highlight that his macro in the previous game was crazy good, and that's something that we're expecting here from him. DauT right now, this is actually impressive. DauT had 30 seconds TC idle time combined when he's booming on 4 TCs.
Yeah, I mean, he's only just built his 4th TC though, so it might be worth waiting a little bit. But yeah, that's still really impressive.
So we got a 4TC coming in here for Rise as well. Currently, voter count is slightly in the favor of Gamer Legion, mostly coming from Slam, though, I believe. He's at 51.
Yeah, I mean, the economies from the Game Legion players look very clean if you look at them. Just
Yeah.
very efficient, very nice farming. A little bit less so when you look at ROR, just feels like a few less farms. Maybe the woodlines aren't quite as efficient. But these are only very small things, right? I don't know if that already determined the outcome of the game, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I feel like right now we're just sitting back, watching these players boom as much as possible. But at some point, they will actually start rolling with the army. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just kind of a relaxing game right now, just seeing, you know, kind of figuring out what both players are going to want to do. It looks like the Italians are going to try and rule this choke point on the right, which makes a lot of sense. Helps protect that trade a little bit. At least the X, you know, like, yeah, there we go, some houses from Rise. I mean, in terms of like defending the trade, I think it's kind of a little bit easier for GL, right? Because if you look on the left, it's kind of easy for DauT to get straight to the like it's the Italian trade, whereas like I guess maybe it's quite similar, honestly. It's just kind of awkward. Like this map is the way they've spawned. Like no one has a safe corner, so like there's it's not like obvious where both teams will trade, and it's not going to be like super easy to defend. So maybe that'll be something. Oh, actually, 50C from DauT. That's interesting. I wonder if this 50C. I mean, so okay, so if you go 5 TCs here, I guess your plan is not to do some kind of early push, right? Like, Leader, you still here?
yes, I am.
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't know if you muted or something. Yeah, I was just gonna say, so with these 5 TCs, right? This kind of gives away. I mean, obviously the opposing team doesn't know, but like DauT's probably not going to be doing any kind of early push, right? It's like if you're not doing early push, like what are you doing? Like full Conics or like full Cavalier?
I feel like you gotta go for Cavalier because massing Conics could be quite challenging, and once again, you don't want to get overrun by early military units, and I feel like, especially Burgundians that can get to early Paladins, I feel like they would just overrun you with better numbers early on. We have a second castle coming in, and Vodka has quite a lot of Ratans out, and it seems like both of them will beat the Gamer Legion players to Imperial.
Yeah, that's very interesting. Also, I really like this castle from Vodka. I don't know about you, but that's just kind of like such a nice positional castle.
Yeah, exactly. It's actually controlling this choke point, it's protecting a gold, and it will help protect the trade as well. Something that both teams are actually working towards protecting for now. But this is what I was talking about. This could be very much about timing. If you land like 20 Ratans in here with a couple of traps, you can start taking out Slam's castles, and Slam could lose his Plumed Archer production.
Yeah, and this is what we were talking about earlier, right? Is that in a straight fight, like I think you just have to favor Ratans over Plumes, right? Like it's just, I remember, God, what it was DauT versus LAN in, I think it was Nilly's Apartment Cup, where I think we saw a similar thing where like DauT just lost because he kind of underestimated Ratans, and Ratans are actually really good against Plumes, like especially if you have a unit like to kind of synergize with you, so you can kind of kill the things that kill the Ratans, like the siege rams and stuff like that. The things that kind of make the Vietnamese like have a headache. So it'll be really interesting to see if kind of that like unit combination will snowball into an advantage.
I feel like we're gonna get Conics from DauT because he's dropping Crayposts. They will be behind in imp timing by quite a bit, but they have a big eco lead, so I feel like there is a window, there is a big window right now for Vodka and Rise to maybe even take down one castle from Slam. But if they let that slip, they will fall behind an eco quite heavily. Still, that could be some super early Paladins from Rise. Like, he's gonna have Paladin to basically about the time where DauT reaches Imperial.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think maybe, I mean, it's really impressive how well Game Legion have boomed. Like, it's no wonder this is a home map for them. Because I think being like down 10 villas is even 20 vol, like Vodka's down 20 volts on DauT right now. So like if they do like if they don't do damage early, like this could be a little bit tricky because DauT will just have more economy, right? You have more units to build. I'm not sure about the Conic play though. Do you think this is good?
I'm not a big fan of it. As I said, the problem is that even though DauT has, like, normally I wouldn't like it because DauT could get easily overrun by Paladin, but he's getting quite a lot of those Creposts up, and he's gonna have a decent amount of Conics pretty soon. In fact, his Conic numbers are actually comparable, if not better, than the cavalry numbers of Rise, but this is what I was talking about, that I think that, especially how under-upgraded those Conics are, only +2 defense in for them, no bloodlines, these Retin Archers could push Slam really badly here, and Slam losing castles would be a disaster because he wouldn't have the production of Plumed Archers.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Slam starts losing castles, it is a big pickle. The problem is, I guess, one thing you do have to say in the favor of Conics, though, is would you not say that in terms of pop efficiency, right, they're probably better than Cavalier are? Like, just because you get that extra unit, right? If you get all the upgrades, they're probably better than Cavalier. So, like, as a long-term unit, like, I think you'll probably want to be on Conics over Cavalier. So, in that instance, I don't dislike it. Sorry, I don't. No, I do like it. But like you were saying, like, this timing can be really difficult to deal with, right? They've got to hold and not take too much damage for DauT to get a snowball of numbers.
Yeah, and look at that, that's Paladin for Rise in a moment. He's gonna have 14 Paladins on the field, they're waiting for the Conics to try and snipe them. It's 4 traps though firing against that castle, so even though Slam has 31 on stone and he's 1,000 stone in the bank, he will lose the first castle. And that is a big deal, because that cripples the production of Slam. He's only going to be on 2 castles.
Yeah, you're right. He's only on 2 castles, and he's got. I mean, that's his production, right? Like, he can't really afford to lose it, especially when it's so expensive.
Yeah, armor coming in right now for Vodka. They don't see the castle on the south, I believe, which is a big win for Slam, because if they saw it, this would be a dead castle as well from Slam.
Yeah, that's true, but they can still push, the center of Slam's base. Like that castle to like by Slam's TC is a really vulnerable position.
They waited though, and those are now elite Conics. Still, Paladins jumping on top, and I like this fight a lot better for Vodka and Rise. Gamer Legion is in big trouble here because 5 traps lining up to take down buildings is a disaster, and DauT is trying to push in on the left side to get to the back of Rise's space, but oh no, the gate is open. Slam keeps the gate open, and now the Paladins are in.
Oh, disaster. Yeah, I think, I think you're definitely right. It feels like this army comp, it was just a little bit too slow, right? Like, DauT needed 4 elite Conic with full upgrades, I think.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of difficult to even get to that, right? Like, it's not.
And
like,
now they will
time,
spot the castles, and remember, this is regicide. So if they lose the castle that the king is in, the king will be forced out of the castle, and they could just lose the king. And more importantly, Slam is going to lose his castles really fast over here, so he's not gonna have any production.
Yeah, that's and also like he's got like no production, and the unit he's building is just worse. So like it's a kind of pretty bad scenario for Slam. Like, he's fighting into a bad unit, and he can't even build his own unit anyway. So I'm honestly just really impressed with how the Italians have kept up the momentum from that like early imp timing. Like we were talking about earlier. Like the fact that like we identified, hey, like with this strat that Game Legion are doing, like they could be weak early imp, and we're seeing like exactly that kind of play out, and they've really like capitalized that advantage, which is really impressive.
Yeah, exactly. I still think that the Italians once again struggle a little bit at using the advantage that they have, especially now that it's a lot of Conic from DauT and the Retins aren't really helping. But I'm still not sure if this is enough for DauT to compensate for Slam losing all his castles.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing is, again, it's similar to game 1 actually, right?
But DauT
like,
has a lot of Conics. Wait a second. That's a lot of Conic, and I did mention that I think the Italians actually misplayed this one by not grouping up their armies. And
yeah, that's a fantastic point. Honestly, they're like, man, Conics are powerful, man. Like, when you get to the snowball numbers, like, boy, are they strong.
And
I think, yeah, the game is about to swing now, I think.
Yeah, because if you get to good Conic numbers, you should have a big advantage. Markets are being set up by Vodka and Rise, but I feel like they could have gotten a little bit more out of this push, although the next wave of Paladin is just now coming in.
Yeah, the question is, how do GL capitalize? I guess they just keep building those trebs and get those castles down, right?
Yeah. I feel like they have to take down castles from Vodka, because Vodka is on 4 castles right now, DauT or Slam is only at 3. And really, the biggest problem for Slam is production right now. He's at a serious bottleneck right now. And for now, DauT and Slam have the lead in terms of score, in terms of economy. But as you said, that's still a question of Slam losing one of his gold mines, and the composition is actually better for DauT and Slam or for the Italians.
Well, I would say that the composition is even when both teams are fighting like head to head, but like it's kind of better when Vodka can just 1v1 the plumes. It's better for the Italians then. Like if, for example, if you're just having a huge fight, like 30 connects in front of 30 plumes and like 30 paladins in front of 30 Ratans, I think it's pretty even.
Yeah, Treb's now once again coming out for Vodka, but if DauT is able to start taking down castles, that could be troublesome for Italians, because, as you said, just as much as Slam is relying on his own castles at making Doomed Archers, Vodka also relies on his own castles at making Ratans.
Yeah, exactly. And now we're kind of seeing the game swing a bit, right? I think one thing I'm definitely surprised at is neither team has that much trade. Like, I think at this point, you kind of, at least for, if you look at Vodka, he's kind of running out of gold a little bit. Like, I feel like he should have been on the trade production a bit sooner.
Now, DauT is going to lose all his traps here, and with that castle having hoardings, this could be a big one. This could be a very, very big fight for the Italians.
Okay, dude, this is absolutely huge right here.
And this is the fight to take. You can actually commit against the Plumes, I believe, right now. Or can you?
The Ratans, yeah, I think the Ratans only take 1 damage from the Plumes, right?
But that's a lot of Doomed Archers, man. 67
yeah,
Plumes.
Very true, yeah.
I feel like you might want to play it a little bit passive, clean up DauT's castle over here first. And there's going to be some siege rams in, which absorb a lot of arrow fire from the Ratans. Nothing like that from Vodka yet.
Yeah, I think, okay, so the problem is Rise is starting to run out of gold a little bit. I think, is DauT running out of gold as well?
DauT is securing a forward creepast close to the base of Rise, so he can actually mine some gold. And indeed, we're seeing light cap coming in from the Burgundian player, which is, needless to say, a disaster.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, DauT doesn't really have any gold either, so like, I think DauT will probably do something similar, but DauT also has quite a lot of remaining connects to kind of at least hold for a little bit longer.
Yeah, exactly. You are right. Once again, it's 6 traps for Vodka, but they don't have the army to actually secure that. And more importantly, DauT secures a gold mine close to the base of Rise. So, while Rise is pretty much completely out of gold, their opponents still have a reasonable amount of gold income. And as you said, it's 31 conics versus only 12 light cavalry.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a push of Siege Ram on the right-hand side. I think, do you think maybe just the Italians, again, just slow to trade? Like,
yeah, I feel like Italians seem to constantly struggle with how to capitalize on the big lead that they have. Still, this is, I mean, Gamer Legion's home map, and DauT and Slam seem to be unbeatable on this map, but now this is looking really grim for the Italians. 98 army against 56, and with those castles going down, Vodka's gonna have no Ratan Archer production. He's down to 30 Ratans, and, I mean, Doomed Archers deal 1 damage only, but it's 60 of them.
Yeah, I think one thing I would say is that I am a little bit disappointed by Vodka's economic management in this game. I've been keeping a little bit of an eye out on it, and it's just, he's always had like 15 idols, like he's never refreshing his woodlines. And just because we know how good Vodka is as a player, I just feel like this hasn't been his best game. Also, like, again, the Vodka has like no trade as well, which again is a pretty big deal. I think just kind of misplayed. I think they focused a bit too much on the early in push and went too much for the all-in timing when they could have probably stayed in the game for like, kind of, and played for the late game.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like the momentum wasn't necessarily there. Like, they were very close to pushing the base of Slam, but then that push stalled out, and I feel like the big deciding fight was when Vodka was trapping down the castles on the south, protecting the traps with the Ratans, but in the meanwhile, Rise lost all his Paladin to the Conics. Like, if you have Paladin and Ratan together, I feel like that would have been an easier fight, or maybe DauT just doesn't take it. So
yeah, I think you're right though. The DauT can't take the fight then, right? I think what they did really well is they managed to split both armies, but they didn't actually use the fact that they'd split both armies, like because they just took individual engagements. Like again, in 2v2s, you always got to be working together with your teammate, right? Like like you'll find the best teams, like they'll always just have their armies hugged together, and they'll always be like synergizing, right? But I think just in one crucial point, Vodka and Rise didn't really like coordinate well enough, and it kind of snowballed the game quite heavily.
yeah. Also worth pointing out that DauT actually has 1500 relic gold, which is actually very, very impactful in this game. So 1500 gold, especially at this time where you don't really have a lot of trade, is a difference maker between having 20 extra conics or so.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I mean, DauT loves his relics, man. And yeah, you're right. Like 1500 gold is super important because it's like it's a lot of conics, right? Like we saw kind of Rise run out of steam a little bit before DauT did. I think that might have been pretty much down to the relics.
Yeah, that's exactly that. And with that, Gamer Legion evens it out, but like you see that the Italians definitely have a shot at this one, but they have to play crystal clean. Still, they won Arabia, so all they have to do is win one of their home maps, which is either Forest Pond and Hideout. So it looks like we're going to Hideout. I think this is the first time we're seeing this map in a tournament, believe it or not. So
wow, interesting.
Yeah, it's actually crazy fact that it seems like the players just like the more specialized map a lot more. So maps like Forest Pond, maps like potentially like Team Islands, not Socotra.
Yeah.
Because Hideout is a generic map, but it seems like it's not specialized enough for the players to pick it very frequently. I'm at 15 seconds, so whenever you're ready,
I'll catch up to 5 seconds. Yeah.
We can actually get going.
Yep.
So
Okay,
let's do a countdown with 3, 2, 1, and go. Oops, Capture decided to go for a super fast forward, so I'm gonna pause at 45 seconds and wait for you to catch up.
Yep. Okay, I'm at 45 seconds.
All right, let's do a countdown in 3, 2, 1. Okay, now we're good. So, warm color team will have the Italians, Vodka in yellow, as Britons on the left, and right side will be Celts for Rise in red. Worth pointing out that they don't really have a cavalry component in late game to this one, although you might not even need it for a map like Hideout. And on the north, we do have a Slam playing as Vikings in blue and Teutons for DauT in green. Which of these combinations do you prefer?
I think you have to prefer GL's lineup, right? I think they're pretty even, but Teutons are really good against Celts in late game because I feel like they kind of have all the counters to the Celt siege, like bombard cannons. They have a really good melee infantry, and like I guess it's probably quite even late game. But they've also got good monks as well, which is really helpful. And I guess Britons against Vikings is quite even as well. I think probably early game is quite even, but late game, I don't know what you think. I guess if Britons get to like mass treb, it could be favorable for them.
Yeah, I think this can go either way. Celts have a very, very nice hub and siege push to work with. Britons can always be devastating with the long-range crossbows, especially in Imperial. Like, Britons having that extra range. Britain is one of the best civilizations on Hideout. Like, it's a slow-moving but very, very devastating army. We might need to resync because apparently my game wasn't slow for whatever reason, so I'm not sure how deep you are in the game.
Oh yeah, I'm 3 minutes and 20 seconds in.
3 minutes 20? I'm at 3 minutes right now, so...
Oh, sorry, I'm 3 minutes 32 right now.
Okay.
I've got it paused.
I'm gonna let you know when I'm at 3:32, but it's Dark Age on Hideout, so we're not missing anything.
Yeah, exactly.
So, 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, we're resync now, so welcome back to the present. So, do you think that we could see some early aggressive Castle Age maybe from Rise? Like, Celts is definitely a possibility for that. You could just go for like a forward siege workshop with mangonels and pikes. That could potentially catch Vikings off guard because, like, if Vikings go for any kind of aggression, that's gonna be crossbows.
Yeah, we definitely could see that. I don't want to rule it out, but I think Celts. I think honestly, it's kind of good for Celts to be against Vikings because I think that should be quite dominant for Celts in late game. So like if you get to like Halb Woad, well, not Halb Woad, sorry, Onager Woad or like Onager, uh, Scorpion, I kind of feel like it's gonna be difficult for Vikings to do anything. Um, and at the same time, like, do you really want to jeopardize your like when you already have great potential late game by doing an early game push?
Yeah, makes sense. It's worth pointing out that the Italians have way better gold spawns than their opponents, so both of them have super safe gold mines, whereas both DauT and Slam kind of has a forward primary gold, which is less than ideal.
Yeah, do you think we're gonna see much early aggression from the Italians? Like, do you think Vodka will go crossbows? Like, how do you think this will play out?
I can see that happening, especially with Britons being able to afford TCs, even though you can go for an aggressive play. It would also be a safer play, and we have seen them playing fairly safe so far, so I can completely see crossbowman opening, just for the sake of not getting pushed potentially by DauT. Because if you go for like a full boom, DauT could definitely go Monk and Siege as well, even though I don't think that's gonna happen, but the possibility is there.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it looks like wait, DauT's on. Oh, it looks like DauT's already on gold.
Interesting.
That's a bit odd.
That is indeed quite odd overall. What is he up to? He's just dropping a second lumber camp, but he is not going to click up anytime soon. I guess the only thing that he could potentially do here is maybe buy himself up to Castle Age. So he will go for the FC, but he will buy some food. That's why he's early on gold. Maybe he doesn't want to make farms, so instead of making farms in Dark Age, he will just go for heavier gold play and buy himself the food that he needs.
Okay, yeah, maybe. I guess DauT probably knows what he's doing. It's probably just some kind of build that he's worked on. I'm not really sure. I mean, it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, but it's just, yeah, there's definitely an early goal time. It almost threw me because I thought, wow, is he going man at arms? But no, he's still going fast castle.
Yeah, he also had a little bit of a struggle pushing in the deer for himself. That might have been part of the reason. And now he's adding farms. So he probably realized, okay, my early food eco isn't going to be that amazing. So he decided to just buy 100 food later on. Still, this should be a fast castle from him. We got an FC coming in for Rise, but Rise is on stone.
Wait, that's very odd.
It's not necessarily a bad idea. If you think about Forest Spawn as a map, how is that played? You fight in the water in the middle and then you potentially castle drop. What if the idea here is that they're expecting DauT+Slam to just boom? If you think back about game number 1, game number 2, the Gamer Legion players were very, very greedy with their boom. What if this is actually going to be a straight up castle drop from Rise?
I mean, it could be, but at the same time, like, I mean, Celts aren't really the best castle drop civ. I mean, like, surely you'd want, like, maybe something like Koreans or, like, Cubans. So, like, you at least have a unit when you do castle drop that you can actually build. Like, I mean, Road Raiders are kind of, I mean, they're not useless, but they're not very good in Castle Age, and then they're not really a unit you're going to build, like, when doing a castle drop. But I guess maybe he'll follow up with Siege. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like he will just sell that though, because he's not actually mining gold to go up. Still an awkward way of playing. I'm actually going to ask your professional insight on this. What's the point of mining stone to sell it and not mining gold? Why not just mine gold? Isn't it easier to do?
I think, no, actually, it makes sense because if you mine gold, then that means you can get to your 4th TC quicker. So it does make sense. Yeah, because if you're looking at the long term, like one of the issues with booming is that you have to build that mining camp, which is already like minus 100 wood, and that's already annoying when you're trying to get 4 TCs quickly. So honestly, yeah, that does make sense.
That's actually a very, very good one. I'm going to admit I didn't know that, but that's why a plapcaster like me brings in co-casters, so I learned something about the game myself.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why. I mean, maybe he's also going for castle drop as well. I mean, you don't know, right? Like, I mean, if he was only going for the stone for town centers, he'd stop mining it now, right?
Yeah, he's only free on stone, so that's not going to be a castle drop unless he sends a couple more. On the other hand, he's got 300 stones, so he can stop mining stone now if he wants to go for, as we have forward houses coming in here, he wants to go for a big boom, it looks like. Because I think that's kind of a part of the wall type of houses and not like a forward Voyager Manganos push type of houses. Although he's still on stone.
Yeah, that's the one thing that's confusing me. He's still on stone, so maybe he's looking at defensive castle, but... Well, if we do look, Slam has actually built an archery range, so maybe he's like... But at the same time, what is a castle going to do against crossbows that Siege Workshop wouldn't do anyway as Celts, right? Like, it doesn't really make too much sense to me.
Yeah, I am not sure, like, you could... Some people are suggesting like 40s or like adding 4 TCs, but you don't have the root for that or the food eco to keep it working, so it feels awkward indeed.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, chat saying 5 TC boom, but yeah, that's maybe we'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna have a couple of archers out for Vodka. DauT actually went with stable blacksmith, so he's gonna have a couple of knights out potentially. Let's see, random archer. This is important because Rise sees the archer, so he knows that Slam is actually going for archers. And it looks like he stops at 342 stone. He probably sold, yeah, 100 more for gold.
Okay, I think that was just a mistake then. I think you just forgot about it. I think that's all that happened. Because ideally those would be on wood for the faster TCs, right?
He's going to play it safe. I think he wanted to go for 4 TCs, but on the other hand, he sees the archers and he's gonna be like, okay, I want to go for a siege workshop.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, again, I think...
He sends Voyagers on stone again, though.
Oh, okay. I'm just confused at this point. I don't know what
I feel like he will consider castle at some point. The question is if it's a forward castle or defensive castle. He's making a Scorpion. I feel like they are realizing that, okay, Slam is going for a couple of army, but it would be very possible to push this one with like 2 or 3 Scorpions and then drop a forward castle. Or he will just add 1 more TC after. I'm a little bit confused on why he actually took away the Voyagers from stone then if he still wants to keep mining stone. Everybody else will be free TC boom for now, but crossbows from Vodka pushing DauT a little bit here.
Yeah, nice quick walls by DauT. Looks like they'll get a little bit of damage, but nothing major.
Yeah, DauT just grabbing loom, so he's gotta be careful with those Voyagers, especially that walling will, but DauT so far nice defense. Still, palisade foundations are an easy way to get strength. I did mention that those gold mines are dangerously open, and DauT is not making a knight. DauT is making a mangonel, but I feel like if Vodka commits against that palisade, he could just break into the base of DauT.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the mangonel, to be honest. But I guess it makes sense because Vodka doesn't have Bodkin arrow yet, so he's not actually outranging the mangonel just yet. If he had Bodkin, I wouldn't really like the mangonel as much because you can just out-micro it.
Yeah, it looks like Rise just made 1 Scorpion to defense, so he's playing this one super safe. He wants to boom, but I don't necessarily like that. I mean, we did see that Gamer Legion seems to be the stronger team in late game. I mean, the civilizations are there for Vodka and Rise, but it's about fighting against DauT+Slam in post-Imperial that is the concern.
Yeah, that's true, but I think they have some potential here. I think if Vodka can do some kind of early in push on tunes, that could be quite good with like before tunes get to Siege Onaga. That could be like quite tricky for tunes to deal with. And at the same time, if Vodka can buy enough time, then Rise should, or in theory, be able to get to a composition that Vikings just can't deal with themselves. So like there definitely is potential for the Italians. It's just whether or not they can actually actualize it, you know.
Yeah, that's true. It's once again going to be heavily about timing on if Rise can actually open nice hub and siege, then it could be very possible, although beating Vikings eco is always tough.
I mean, Celt eco is really good. It's great for booming. I think honestly, like he should be on 40 Cs already by now. It's just, I think he had kind of a little bit of a messy like early castle age and like feudal age and whatnot. Like having too many villagers on stone, for example, it doesn't help when you're trying to snowball 4 town centers.
Yeah, once again, like it's so crazy how all of these games between these two teams just go all the way to booming.
Yeah, definitely a defensive 2 matchups here. Yeah, one important thing though on the right hand side, Slam is building a stable and a monastery. So Slam is looking to do at least something here on the right.
I feel like Here, in this case, you just add a couple of knights to potentially deal with mangonels or so, but Rise has done a very nice job of adding a second layer to his walls, so I don't think that Slam can actually do much damage here. And if we overall compare, like, Slam is investing quite a lot into that push, as it looks like Rise actually wants to stonewall himself, but that might be too late, though.
Yeah, that should be too late, and Slam already has the archers and the knights there, so that siege should get cleaned up if he does show it. Yeah, the question is, yeah, I guess the question is, can the Slam put on enough pressure in early imp to kind of mitigate the kind of bad matchup in post imp? Like, do you think we'll see Slam do like a forward castle and go quite aggressive early imp?
It's very possible he's 5 on stone, and there is crossbows here as well, or soon to be crossbows alongside knights, so those siege weapons could be intercepted very, very easily, and it would be a disaster for Rise losing 3 siege weapons for nothing. But still, you're right, like, once Vikings get into late Imperial against Celts, Vikings have no answer to Celts, basically.
Yeah, I mean, what I find really interesting as well is this is the second game that DauT's gone for 5 town centers. He's building his 5th. Is that a town? Yeah, on his main goal.
Yeah,
So
it's
clearly
dicey.
DauT's in the booming mood today.
Yeah, DauT is just going to boom like crazy, and he's heavy on stone still, so maybe TC number 6 coming in very soon. I did mention that Rise, it's a sort of a mistake leaving those siege weapons unprotected, and it's gonna be a costly mistake.
Yeah, I mean, he probably didn't expect Slam to have the knights. It's kind of not too meta.
Yeah, we're gonna have a monastery now. I don't think that Slam can do much damage, but still, losing all those siege weapons hurts. It looks like Slam will actually be the first player to click into Imperial, and like even just 15 orbs with some rams could be pretty devastating, especially if Slam is now 9 on stone. This could be a forward castle, and Rise doesn't really have the tools to stop that.
Yeah, actually, okay, so this aggression makes a lot of sense from Slam. So I think what Slam was doing here is he was taking the map so that he could do like some kind of early like ram push with Arbalest, right? So like he's basically ensuring that his push will be as quick and as deadly as it possibly can be. I guess he's waiting for the Siege Workshop also to click up. So it might be if Rise is only just getting Bowsaw. So that's really sloppy, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's killed, so that helps a little bit, but I feel like at this point, if you haven't gotten both up until now, you might as well just click into Imperial first. Imperial is coming in for everybody here, but the ecos are dead even, but as I said, Slam's got all the map control, he can drop a castle in Rice's face, and Rice would have trouble defending against that one. Rice getting close to his own castle, but he's gonna be outnumbered quite heavily in military numbers.
I mean, I think the biggest problem is just space. He's going to run out of space. Like, there's no way he can now take the map control back. So, like, at some point, like, Slam will just be able to shove him down because he can't build, you know, enough siege workshops. He can't have enough farms to get to where he needs to get to the upgrades, right? I think in general, like, the Game Legion players are really showing their not only their macro skills, but also like just kind of subtle things like Slam, you know, taking the map, like not allowing like Rise to really. He's kind of suffocating Rise a little bit here, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like Slam is gonna go for the super safe approach. Drops a castle on that hill. I guess he wants to drop a second castle in the face of the opponent first, but basically this is hiding away the castle from Rise, even though it looks like Rise knows about it, so it doesn't really matter. But still, this is a guaranteed castle as opposed to dropping a castle right in the face of the opponent.
Yeah, exactly. Also, interestingly, on the left-hand side, it's going to be Arbalester versus Cavalier. And also, DauT should have a pretty sizable economic advantage over Vodka. Yeah, he's got... Oh, it's only 10 villagers.
Yeah, it's not that big. And honestly, those villagers, oh boy, DauT. There is no +2 defense once again for DauT, no bloodlines, and that's a disaster. That's a disaster. That castle isn't going up for DauT, and the Arbalest and Bracer will also be faster than Cavalier for DauT, so DauT really struggles with that +2 defense problem.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of... I don't know how DauT doesn't have more villagers than he does, because he went 5 TCs against 3. So it doesn't really add up, you know? Like, I feel like he's had some idle time somewhere.
Yeah, I feel like he just had to idle 5 TCs to click up to Imperial. Like, his imp time is comparable to Vodka's imp time, and that means that he had to idle those DCs quite a bit, whereas Vodka might have had a much more consistent production.
Yeah, I think, okay, so now this game gets really interesting because it's now about Slam kind of like carrying the aggression for DauT and Vodka carrying the aggression for Rise. So like this game will be determined by how well each side can hold against the other.
Yeah. Now, Slam actually sent all his crossbows towards Vodka's base, which I think is a bad decision because they will all be cleaned up. And it looks like we're gonna have onagers for Rise, something that Vikings struggle quite badly against. Onagers are just now in, and they will take down the Rams pretty easily. Arbalest on the way for Slam right now. As Vodka's trying to get the stone walls up on the left side to make sure that their trade could be safe. But this is the one where DauT has been waiting for, jumping on the opponent with a lot of Cavalier.
Yeah, I think Vodka's happy to take that fight on the hill. I don't think it's the best fight, but I don't think he had much of a choice there.
Yeah, that feels like an okay-ish fight, and one thing to consider indeed is that like, the Teutons struggle quite badly against archers. Well, not that badly, but Teuton cavalry is slow, so they have a harder time surrounding the opponent's archers than on the other side. Slam getting a second castle up, or at least that's the plan, but it's getting immediately taken down by Trebs from our red player.
Yeah, honestly though, I think Slam is playing a really, really good game here, honestly. The amount of pressure he's putting on Rise is really good. And like the thing is, Rise can't use the fact that he's got a better late game sieve just because Slam is forcing a treb war, right? So like not only can Rise not expand, but he can't really like, you know, get his eco high. He can't do much really. All he has to do is sit in his base and try and push out with a kind of slow treb war, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Paladin just now coming in for that. I feel like the right side is actually the better side for the Italians, though, because they're holding that one nicely, whereas on the left side I have doubts about the Arbalest being able to hold against the Paladins. Like, you can mix in hubs, sure, but Teutons can do the same thing as well, just mix in their own hubs and trade off against you or make onagers.
Yeah, no, I agree, but the thing is, like I was saying, is like Celts should, like I said, in post and be better, right?
Oh, DauT is sending everything towards Rice's base. That's actually very smart.
Yeah, that's super smart. But the thing is, Rice has actually got everything walled in. So, I guess they're gonna try and force an opening and then send the paladins in.
Yeah, that feels like it. Like, 2 traps can take down a house and then send the paladins in to try and take down. If those paladins get on top of those onagers, that's game over.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So now the traps firing up hills over there. We also have to consider that Vodka will launch an attack to the left side, but that has to wait. Like, he's just teching into hubs. And currently the tech advantage seems to be slightly on the side of Vodka and Rice.
Yeah, this game is just so awkward though for the Italians. Like,
And there's the opening on the house, I believe. And look at that timing. Just when Paladin kicks in, the house is gonna go down. I said the house is gonna go down. And Rice knows that. Yeah. And now the Paladin are in. You gotta get some crazy good ground attacks with those onagers to have any shot at, you know, keeping those up. There's a couple of pikemen coming out, but Halbadier is actually behind a couple of pikemen. And, oh, Man-at-Arms upgrade before Halbadier. That's probably a misclick out of panic from Rice.
Yeah. And yeah, this is where the game starts to get difficult, right? Like, the thing is, Rise has no space to build anything. Like, he's got no map presence, essentially, and this castle is about to go down, right? So it's looking really tricky.
Yeah, if that castle goes down, I feel like Rice's chances are very, very low. But there is the Arbalest counterattack coming from Vodka, which could help, or just run into the Berserks. Oh, that's a slightly underwhelming attack over there. And indeed, as you said, the castle is gonna go down. And on the other side, the push from Vodka isn't fast enough.
Yeah, it's not fast enough, right? And look at DauT's economy though. Look at how much space they're taking on the map. They're just doing such a great job, right? Like, the problem, I think I'm really impressed with Slam this game because I think his decision making in this game was completely perfect. Like, he made a really tricky matchup look really easy. Just by doing all the right things correctly, like taking the map control in mid-cast stage, like using his better economy to get a faster imp, and then like penning like Rise into a corner, and like forcing him into trebles. And now like Rise just has no space for eco, no space for houses, no space for anything really.
Yeah, now DauT is gonna get pushed on the left side, and they don't really have an answer to the Halberdier push on the left, and like Rise is not completely dead yet. So there may be a small chance here for Italians, but DauT+Slam have a much cleaner transition to Imperial. Like they already have 22 trade cards rolling as opposed to 0. So this push has to be great for Vodka to have any chance at this one.
Yeah, that is a good point. That push on the left is pretty scary. I don't know what they plan to do. I think Slam is sending some builds. Maybe he's gonna build some Archery Rangers, get some skirms out or some Arblasters out, and that should hold.
Or Teutonic Knights. Make Teutonic Knights. There is barely any Arbs on the field. There is like 6 Arbs and 30 Halberdiers, so Teutonic Knights isn't that bad of a choice over there. Still, oh, that is actually very unlucky on the other side. Rise just onagering his own Halberdiers. Still, I want to give a shout out to Slam having a castle inside his own base. It's very smart, because in case the opponent wants to onager cut, which would be very possible from Rise, he already has onagers, that would be an opportunity to do so, as DauT is potentially going to lose a second castle here to 5 trebs.
Yeah, so DauT is getting pushed really, really heavily. But again, like you're saying, there's just no follow-up to this, right? Like, this push has to win the Italians the game, because they just don't have trade. And we already see DauT taking into onagers. Maybe we'll see like Siege Ranger. I can't say. I guess DauT is just gonna try and hold this with Paladins and some Arblasters to support him.
Yeah, but honestly, if you would have a couple of onagers here for Rise, this could suddenly become real tough. And the other thing is that the Britain Arbs will just pick off the onagers from a distance. We may have spoken too soon, because all the pressure from the right side is gone, and now it is the Italians pushing the left.
Yeah, I still think Game Illusion is fine. It's not like you really need the castles anyway. I mean, they're obviously really useful, for defense, but like you're not building any units from them really.
I like that they're taking down the workshop here to prevent the opponent from getting more onagers. This is the deal though. Here come the Arbalest from Slam.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it doesn't really matter because this fight is just so good for...
Vorwolf coming in for Vodka, but just a little too late to have a good shot against those Arbs. And he's also getting the Yeoman just now. And Slam is also going to push the right side now, so the Italians are still in a bit of a trouble here, because don't have an answer to just more Arbalests, basically.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and like I was saying, no follow-up, no trade, so... Again, if they don't win the game soon, like, it's going to be difficult to see how they can keep competing.
Elite Longbowman with 0 longbows on the front, that feels like an awkward decision. I mean, if you get to good a number of elite longbows, they will eat the Arbalest, but that takes forever to do. Still, Britons are extremely hard to push. They are Vorwolf trebs, so they will just take down your trebs very easily.
Yeah, that's true. I think I would have liked to see the Italians...
Why is DauT going for ballistics? Can someone explain that?
Wait, he is?
DauT actually went for ballistics.
Well, he might be for the crenellations if he's going to get that, or maybe bombard towers. Also, Slam is cutting through the middle actually into Vodka's base. I wonder if look, they're prepping for a huge raid on Vodka's economy, and there's nothing to defend it.
Oh, that could be. That's once again, you said the decision-making advantage is on the side of Gamer Legion, and by the time Vodka realized this is gonna be really late, and it's going to be impossible to stop that onager cut. Something that Rise could have thought about as well with his own onagers, but he didn't. And now he's got nothing to stop like 20 paladins running into the eco. That's just the intelligence level of Gamer Legion showing here with this move.
Yeah, it's just perfect decision making, right? Like, why push the left when there's like 30 arbs, 30 house, and you can just onager cut through the middle and destroy Vodka's economy?
And yeah, Vodka's gonna lose a lot of Voyagers. Like, he's trying to get his Halberdiers back now, but this is the moment where DauT+Slam will open on the left side. DauT indeed attacking to Bombard Tower, and I think this is why he went Ballistics. I was like, okay, Bombard Tower, but where are you going to use that? You're going to use that inside the opponent's base.
Of course, as expected. Yeah, I think, again, just because of the fact that Game Legion has trade, this game is looking really good for them.
Yeah, this is looking extremely good. The Hobs are getting picked off by the Arbs. Eco's much better for Game Legion. DauT actually goes for a castle for crenellations first. The base of Rise is also collapsing slowly, so even if this push wasn't here now, the right side is looking very, very grim.
Yeah, I think, honestly, this game, Rise again, it's kind of felt like a bit of a passenger. Like even his army, like what's his army doing right now? You know, it's not really helping. I think that's mainly because Slam played so well. But I definitely think there probably was more potential from the Celt player. I think his boom was just a little bit off, a little bit slow.
Yeah, it looks like we'll have the castle stopped here from DauT, and well, once again, a DauT castle coming in here. He's actually gonna go for a defensive castle now, because one thing we didn't talk about is that holes work both ways. The army from DauT+Slam are gone, so now those Arabs and the traps can push into DauT's eco, even though now DauT is pushing the left side with bombard towers and onagers.
Yeah, I mean that's true, but again, like the thing is, like I know I keep saying this, but it's just infinite gold against limited gold, right? Like
Yeah,
one
exactly.
team has trade, so like DauT can just throw away these paladins if you wanted to. Like it doesn't really matter too much.
And also, Slam's eco is untouched, whereas Rice's eco is under heavy pressure. He's going for Siege Onager. He doesn't have Furor Celtica yet on those, but look at the flood of Slam now. Like right in the moment that the pressure is relieved from Vodka's base, as there is the Paladin counterattack, they would just push Rice.
Yeah, that's a really good point actually. It's really interesting how like they switch sides so frequently, right? Like DauT just ran in, did a load of damage, and now they're focusing on the right hand side again rather than the left. You know, it's just really hard to keep up with. You know, especially when you're being so reactive, like Rise and Vodka are being.
Part of that comes from the fact that DauT is actually a cavalry civ, whereas the opponent has two very slow-moving civs with Celts and Britons. So the mobility of the Paladins helps quite a lot stretch out the defenses of the opponent.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, definitely. It's why it's kind of weird to give, when you have a home map of Hideout, it's kind of weird to give your opponents Teutons as a civ. Like they picked Teutons for Game Legend. Game Legend didn't pick them. So I guess maybe they were worried about other civs.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think in Hidden Cup, the two most commonly picked civilizations for Hideout were Khmer and Teutons, and Teutons usually won against Khmer, so Teutons is a very good civilization for Hideout.
Yeah, Teutons are a top tier Hideout civ, definitely. So yeah, it's kind of weird to give them that when it's your home map, but like we don't know what they were thinking in the draft. You know, they probably had a reasoning, but this game is definitely falling apart now.
Yeah, exactly. Now it's 50 Teuton Paladins, and they have 7 melee armor, so that is looking extremely grim. 150 armor against 102, but it's about the 8 trade cards for the Italians versus 64 for GL. Hashtag says vodka, and
yeah, they probably just mistyped GG or something.
Yeah, it was GGG or something.
Yeah.
But ends up hashtag, and that signal was the end of the game. So, with that, Game of Legion, I have to say that the games themselves are fairly competitive. So, Vodka+Rise definitely had their moments in this one as well. But this was by far the most convincing game from GL, and I did mention that at the end of the Arabia game that I feel like they were slowly gaining confidence in that Arabia game, and now they play very confident and play their best.
Yeah, they're playing really good now. You can just tell. You're right. That Arabia game, like just early on, it was just so all over the place. Like they weren't very coordinated. Definitely not the smoothest play. But yeah, from that point onwards, it's not been clean sailing, but they've definitely been a lot more solid.
Yeah, that they definitely outplayed their opponents in this one. Slam played really well, as you said. The KD is heavily on his side, and just the map position that he was able to get into was extremely important. Like his early in push, we did mention that timing is extremely important on this map, and the timing of Game of Legion was great.
Yeah, do you mind if I quickly take 20 seconds? I just really need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
so while Hallis is off, this is the time to do a sellout, because in case you want to support the tournament and me at the same time, keep in mind that for every Twitch subscriber at the end of the tournament, we will be adding $1 to the prize pool as well. So let's go sellout indeed. We have 2 more home maps remaining in this set, as we're going to take a look at the schedule for today. Today's schedule is going to be finished with Bars and Wallace versus Nilly and Jordan, an elimination match in the Group A. Nilly and Jordan and Bars and Wallace are hanging on right now, but they gotta win. Otherwise, they are out in Group A. What we're left with, and that's where we're going, because you have to pick your own home map here, is Forest Pond for Vodka+Rise, a map that often can pull upsets. And on Forest Pond, you're left with Saracens, Persians versus Koreans, Incas, as opposed to Lithuanians, Tatars, and Berbers, Portuguese. It kind of feels like a Lithuanians, Portuguese map for me. That is a very, very strong combo for GL, as opposed to Persians, Koreans, maybe. I'm starting to like GL Civs here a little bit better, because that Lithuanian-Portuguese combo for Forest Pond seems very scary. Whereas Berbers Tatars work really well on Team Acropolis. It's not the perfect matchup, but Berber Cavalry plus Tatar CA can work nicely. Whereas it's either Saracens here, which is a possibility for multiple reasons, but it is also possible that we will just have the Persians being picked here. While Hallis is away, I also want to give a quick shout out to everybody. Oh, thank you so much for all the follows, the subs, the gifted subs. I appreciate that a lot. And I'm super happy that so many of you are enjoying the tournament, because we have a lot more coming this weekend as well. Speaking of that, let's talk about this weekend's schedule.
Oh, sorry to butt in, but I'm back.
All right. I'm just going to quickly highlight the schedule for the weekend now that I actually started. Tomorrow, after the Age preview event, we'll have Winchester and Classic Pro versus Mr. Yo and Lix. Then Taro and Viper versus Vietnam Legends A, ACCM and Say My Name. And Sunday is gonna be a blast as well. Len and Hart versus Brew and Sito. Then MBL and Nikov versus Miguel and Dogao. And lastly, Hero and Leary versus Suomi. It's gonna be some crazy sets in this weekend. So, what are your thoughts about the remaining civilizations for Forest Pond? Because that's where we will have to go.
I think you have to prefer game illusion, right? Like Lithuanians is just better than Saracens and Persians. And yeah, I guess I don't know, Koreans maybe in the pool too for the Italians. I'm not really too sure. I think something like Lithuanians and probably Portuguese sounds pretty strong. Yeah, I don't know what you think.
Well, I already checked out the civilizations, so I'm gonna be paused at 30 seconds right now, and it looks like they will go completely against our predictions. We will have a Saracens and Incas combo. I feel like we had a very, very passive gameplay so far from Vodka+Rise, and this time they will go for something super aggressive. Saracens and Incas being two super aggressive civs on this one.
I'm at 30 seconds whenever you're
ready. Let's do 3, 2, 1, and go. And Capture Age actually changes to light speed, so we're gonna have to resync at potentially 127.
127?
Alright.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, 3, 2, 1, and go. Alright. So now we're once again synced. So welcome to Forest Pond. We're gonna have Rice as red, Incas on the left. To the south of him is going to be Vodka in yellow, Saracens. I feel like your Saracen player might still play Water, but I would count on some Saracen archers being used over here. Other side, Slam is gonna go for Lithuanians in blue and Portuguese for DauT as expected in green.
Yeah, so I mean, so DauT has the best sib here, right? Slam has the best sib with Lithuanians for this map, to get that early dock nice and quickly. If you are the Italians, how do you use these civs to get yourself an advantage? Because it just kind of feels like they're just not that great, you know?
That's actually tricky. I think based on the player matchups, it's likely that DauT will play Water, although it's not necessarily guaranteed. DauT could play fast castle or Gengans with a castle drop. But
yeah, that's a really good point, yeah.
I think that if DauT plays Water, then Rice has to go for a tower rush against him, especially with such a forward goal for DauT, and that could allow Vodka to win Water. Even after that, the Slam is going to have a massive advantage with Lithuanians, and he already has a dock up because of that. But I want to highlight that Slam is probably the unluckiest Lithuanian player ever on the planet. Just look at where the relics are on this map. Like, they are as far away from Slam as humanly possible.
Yeah, it's almost like there's a kind of force field, like with Slam, just kind of forcing all the relics away. Like none of them are spawned anywhere near him. Like that entire side of the map just has nothing, no relics on it.
Yeah, the relic spawns are actually favoring the Italian team a tiny bit over here, but it indeed is weird that you get not even anything that's close to Slam. Feels bad, man, for him. Still, I think that if you're the Italians, you pick these two civs to be aggressive, but this is also sort of a borderline all-in type of a play, because I feel like if you can't capitalize on a potential early archer push with Saracens or so, then I'm not really sure what you're going to do in Castle Age. I think you will see Saracen archers, because otherwise you would have picked Persians. If Vodka's only role in this game would be to fight on water, he would have gone Persians. But there is one other thing that I might actually consider, and what if it's Rise going for archers? Because the Saracen building attack bonus to archers is a team bonus. So what you could do is Vodka just playing water, and the reason why you pick Saracens here is because you want to have Rise with the archers getting through the walls and then towers.
Yeah, I mean, so it does seem like from how the Italians have opened, they've both opened water, and we're not really seeing anything to indicate like a huge aggression. But I think, like you're saying, we have to assume something is going to happen, right? Like, I just can't see them playing completely standard. One thing I will say though is that if this game does go like to quite a heavy boom game, then Saracens are actually much better than Lithuanians late game, because I guess they have some counters to Mamluk, but like if you have a lot of Mamluks, like it's kind of hard to figure out what to build against as Lithuanians. Like you're forced into something like Halb Skirm, which isn't really ideal late game.
Yeah, it looks like Vodka actually pushed in some deer, but he gives up on the one that he pushed in close to his DC. And it seems like this is just going to be a standard galley rush from him. He might open Saracen galleys trying to snipe some fishing ships, because faster firing rate on those could be important. And I think the other thing that could be considered is that he could use the market quite nicely to go up into Castle Age. Here, selling your stone to go castle with Saracens and trying to get the War Galley first could be a big power spike for you.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I feel like at the same time, the Lithuanians should have that covered with the extra fish early, right? I do see what you mean. Do you think? Okay, so it looks like both Italian players are just content to play water. Same with GL.
Yeah, this is interesting, because if you just play full water, the only purpose of picking Incas is to surprise your opponent with the fact that, if you just look at Incas, you're down by one game, decider game, 95% of people would say, hey, this is gonna be an aggressive tower rush. Like, Inca Saracens, it has to be something aggressive, but it might just be the surprise factor that they are using in this one to pick these civs.
Yeah, I just don't really think they're that confident with the really aggressive players, though, honestly. Like, I think they're kind of a solid team that work well together, but they're not really going to be a team that goes for the crazy, outlandish, aggressive strategies, right? At least from what we've seen. So yeah, maybe, honestly, it just feels like Game Legion have just kind of outdrafted them a little bit. At least the past few games have kind of showed that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Gamer Legion outdrafting you is not an uncommon sight by any means. Gamer Legion
yeah,
is,
exactly, yeah.
It might be one of the best civilizations, or one of the best teams to do drafts. That's their biggest strengths overall.
Yeah, exactly. Like players like DauT+Slam, they've got so much experience, right? They know, what's good on when to pick certain civs. Like they just have a wealth of experience to draw from. Well, one question I will ask you though is, would you have liked to see some galleys from Vodka?
It's tricky. I feel like this is a very, very tight water fight. Big demo here from Rise. Beautiful one over there. I think the biggest problem is that the space is too tight for galleys to maneuver. Another good demo shot, and honestly, that's two fire ships down from Gamer Legion. Very nicely done so far from the Italians. Vodka trades off a demo for the opponent, and that's an excellent start for them. It's worth pointing out that the Portuguese will have the edge when it comes to like cheaper gold cost on the galleys and also the more HP. But
Yeah.
that could be another big demo shot.
Oh.
And it actually was a fairly decent one. It hit 2 ships. So I think the Italians have to be happy about that right now. No market just yet for Vodka, but even if not for just buying himself up, just for the sole purpose of, having an easier time balancing your eco could help quite a bit. Demo coming in here, and that was a somewhat inefficient one.
Yeah, they're building a
Vodka.
lot of demos, the Italians. I don't know what you think about that. It's just, I'm looking at Vodka's POV right now, and he's got 4 demos queued, like demos in every dock.
Yeah, I feel like they're not confident with just pure Fire Galley micro, and they want to get some big booms in, and I think they're actually getting that in. Like this.
Yeah.
This map has some very, very tight water fights here, so you can definitely land some great demo hits, and now Slam's fishing eco is getting pushed, which is important, because if you have an untouched fishing eco, then you will have a slightly more consistent food income, as it looks like Vodka is trying to demo snipe the fish, will be successful with that, and really, that's going to translate into an eco lead for the Italians.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, if you actually look, the Vodka's fish is very inefficient. Like, he's got 2 on shorefish and only 2 on actual fish. So, like, Slam's really only down one fishing boat right now.
Yeah, but look at that eco balance for Vodka. That's what I was referring to. He wants to buy himself up to castle
yeah,
here.
he told his stone. Yeah, you're right.
Nice demo hit once again from Vodka, but the problem is that you cannot actually reuse your demos. They are a one-time thingy, and if you go for too many demos, you will just run out of fire ships.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're praising Vodka's economy, but look at Slam's, man. He's almost up to castle stage as well.
Oh man, that's crazy. Yeah, I think part of that comes from the fact that he's Lithuanian, so he gets that dock up early, so his early food eco is really, really good.
Yeah, exactly, and he's really used that really well. I mean, Vodka should click up first, but Slam won't be too far behind.
Yeah, but there is a huge amount of demo hits here. Like, none of the teams are really putting a major effort at splitting away from demos or so. They're just like, okay, let's just absorb those hits with the demos.
I mean, it can be, like you said, in a choke point like this, it can be really difficult to dodge all the demos.
Yeah, still, ship numbers, it's about 8 fire galleys for our Italian team and 11 for Gamer Legion.
Yep, and Slam is even... So Vodka forgot his blacksmith, which is why he's not clicked up. Yeah, and Slam remembered it, yeah.
That hurts really badly. I mean, there is just some enormous demo hits here, but at the end of the day, that faster cast stage from Slam could actually help quite a bit, because the first War Galley could be an extremely big advantage, and now I think that Gamer Legion is taking over on the water.
Yeah, this is really, really clean play from Gamer Legion. I'm struggling to see how ROR, or sorry, the Italians will come back. It seems like the numbers are just a lot lower right now. They've lost a lot of units as well.
Yeah, they don't have any fire galleys on the field right now. And now they're going to start pushing the opponent's fishing eco. And DauT and Slam are both big boomers, so if they secure water, they will have a crazy fish boom.
Yep, definitely. I mean, there's not much fish left. I mean, they'll probably have to build a dock closer to the edge, like Slam is down on the right. Yeah, I think... if you are the Italians, do you commit out and just boom now, or what's the play here?
That's tough. I see a blacksmith coming in from Rise. He's just about to pick up the castle age. Vodka is piling up ships inside his docks. He's not giving up on water just yet, but as I said, now Gamer Legion does have fishing eco, and there is the War Galley upgrade for Slam, going for second TC. I think that what you could think about is maybe using the advantage that Rise is beating DauT into castle age and going for an aggressive siege-based push, because DauT doesn't have anything to defend on land with.
Yeah, I mean, that's true, but... yeah, I guess Rise is clicked up a little bit faster. It looks like they're content to contest water still, though. They don't want to give it up just yet.
Yeah, it looks like they will actually try to just go for double War Galleys here, because both Italian players are actually queuing up more ships inside their docks. So they're waiting for a War Galley play, and they don't want to give up on water that easily.
Yeah, honestly, I prefer what Slam is doing. He's already got another TC. Like, okay, so let's say the Game Legion lose water. Like, there's gonna be like 3 fish left, right? So that doesn't really translate to that big of an economic bonus. So might as well just build the town centers, right? Just build land economy. It's more reliable.
Yeah, exactly. And as you said, when they pawn starts running out of fish, suddenly it becomes almost insignificant, and even though with fish traps you can still have a good eco, but I mean that takes time to kick in. That being said, one of the unique things on this map is that if you lose the water, the back of your base will be very, very open for aggression.
Yeah, I mean, I've yet to see someone land from the back, but yeah, there's definitely a possibility, right? Not something you want necessarily to have as a potential outcome. But yeah, I mean, I still think, like, honestly, water is important, but I feel like maybe some teams overemphasize the importance of water
Yeah,
sometimes.
I feel like it's more about keeping your fishing eco intact in feudal age. That's what matters, because
yeah, definitely, yeah.
after feudal age, you see there is limited amount of fish over here, and this will be a moment where I think Rise could actually keep pressuring water. So at least one of the Game Legion players commits to this, but Vodka should think about going for crossbows and trying to get through the walls. They will win water, but what for? That's the question now.
Yeah, yeah. See, the problem is, if you compare the Slam and Vodka's eco, like it just feels like Slam's is just so much further ahead.
Yeah.
You know, he's got 3 TCs already. Like Vodka's had idle TC for so long. Like,
Yeah, I mean, one thing is sure, this game is going to give a lot of highlight material, because we had like 20 big demo hits in this one. I'm not even hyped up that much about big demo hits now, because there is so many of them.
yeah. Yeah, maybe I haven't really tried galleys. Maybe galleys. It's just too small for galleys.
Yeah, I feel like that's this pond is a little too tight, and the players are so close that if you go for galleys, you will just get overrun by early fire ships. And it looks like Game Legion is still winning this. Portuguese bonus actually comes in very important here.
Yeah, so if you look at the two teams, like one team is focusing fully on getting the water, and still don't have control of the water, and the other is transitioning out into boom, and that's the Game Legion team. And it's just like, again, even if the Italians win the water, I mean, it doesn't really give them that much. Like at this point, like might as well be 4 or 5 TC booming, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And Slam is on free. DauT is gonna be on free as well. And I feel like you already have a 20 villagers lead for Gamer Legion, and it isn't coming from fish. So it's not like they have 20 extra fishing ships. It's pure villagers.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. It just feels like, again, if you lose water, like maybe make the opponent commit to like something like fire ship, right, or like the actual upgrade, and then transition out or something. But because I don't think this map will be determined necessarily by who wins water, right? Like
No. Although I think there is so many layers to this map, and I think no one really knows how to actually play this map precisely.
Yeah, that's very true. It's very easy to say, with full vision of everything, but having played this map before, it does feel like if you can't, like I remember obviously I'm not playing against DauT+Slam when I'm playing these games, but when I played it, it feels like even if we were losing water and I just go like kind of go for land economy and just go up to cast stage quickly, 3 or 4 TC boom, I'm not usually that far behind anyway. Like even if they do have full water control, so like, but whereas here they are going to be significantly behind because they are quite late to the boom. So yeah, is this game just going to play out as a boom war, do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised, I have to say. Apparently these two teams love to boom here.
Yep.
So, but still, I mean, Gamer Legion is better at booming right now. They already have a big advantage, the 30 villagers lead. Do you think that at this stage, Vodka and Rise know how much far behind they are?
I think they should. I think they should know how far they are behind, but it's kind of tricky to tell quite how far behind you are in game. I think maybe if it just goes to boom war, like maybe they'll have a little bit of time, because obviously it takes a little bit to get pushed and to build forward buildings and build the forward castles and to apply pressure. But like we're already seeing like a 20 volt difference like to both players, which is pretty huge. That's like a good 1, 2, 3 minute timing, right? Like we have to hold being latest to Imperial Age.
Yeah. I feel like I could have seen an option for Vodka that will, instead of going for like 3 TC boom, just try to go for a 1 TC build with like, get like 25 orbs and 3 bombard cannons, and try to go for an early imp push, because that could have been something that punishes a boom very, very nicely.
Maybe, but I think it's probably too telegraphed if you do that. I think it'd be really obvious what was coming, and maybe like Slam would just do full, you know, either full scum or full knights, and you get cleaned up anyway. I think again, like it's really tricky sometimes, like to figure out when to not commit and when to commit. And I think again, I think the Italians just committed a little bit too much. You know, like just a little bit less committal, and you're not down. Look at the vill count. They're both down around 20 to 30 villages, right?
Yeah, and DauT even converted an Eagle Warrior from Rise, picked up a Voyager that was building outposts. DauT is on 5 TCs, gathering relics, but in this case, he shouldn't actually gather it for himself. DauT, don't be greedy. You have a Lithuanian teammate.
Oh my god, DauT.
I'm not.
Oh, DauT's such a boomer, man. What is this, the third game in a row he's gone 5 town centers, man? Oh my god.
I think, I don't think that you have seen that set, but that might be a revenge. In the previous set that they played against Swords, they also played Forest Pond, and Slam's base got pushed really badly, so he transported Voyagers into DauT's base, and it actually started laming DauT's farms. Like, he took away the farms and started farming on DauT's farms. that might be the revenge there.
Oh my god. Classic DauT stealing the relics from Slam. Yeah, I think they know at this point that they're very far ahead.
I'm fairly certain. Imperial Age coming in here for both Vodka and Rise in a moment, but I mean, DauT and Slam won't be that much behind, and their eco is like miles ahead.
Yeah, it's a question of what does Vodka do though? What do they? How do they use the sim timing? Like, it looks like okay, Rise will go for Eagles. That's interesting.
I mean, it makes some sense because you're expecting Arbalest or maybe Organ Guns from Portuguese, and the Eagles is probably your best bet against that. Although Portuguese have fully upgraded Cavaliers, so it's not like they will struggle against the Eagles, especially Inca Eagles, which are the weakest Eagles in the game in Imperial.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say we are seeing Mamluks from Vodka, which is very exciting. I love seeing this unit. Yeah, that should be a good unit in the late game. Anyway, you were saying something before I interrupt you.
Oh yeah, it's fine. We will have indeed Mamelukes, but the problem with Mamelukes here will be production. You have one castle worth of Mamelukes, whereas you will soon be overrun by like 5 stable Cavalier. Even though those Cavaliers will have nothing special on them. Because, guess what? Your teammate stole all the relics.
Yep, DauT's got 2 relics right now. I wonder if he's getting a third.
DauT going for the stone walls, so he knows exactly that the Eagles will actually try to run past and hit him, so he's just gonna go for stone walls, and he's gonna go for the Organ Gun Masterpiece.
Yeah, I think this is just full confidence play from Game Legion. They know this game is looking good. I mean, I wouldn't sleep on it too much because, like I was saying before, like Lithuanian against Saracens, if you do get like fully upgraded elite Mamluk, like Lithuanians don't really have a great answer to that. So like they need to be a little bit careful, but they are just so far ahead economically that it probably won't matter.
Yeah, I like that the Italians actually decided to like wall the back of their bases with like stone walls to prevent a potential landing. But as you see, Game of Legion once again already setting up trade.
Yeah. It just shows you how far ahead they were in the boom, right? I mean, they're both 30 villages ahead of their opponent. So.
In fact, they actually can now start thinking about deleting some of those fire ships because they are just basically wasted population.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
By the way, it looks like Rise never found 2 of his sheep. I'm just Oh, Rise, look at that scouting. Makes me feel sad. This is a Imperial Age player scouting and he's still missing on 2 of his sheep.
Oh, no.
Obviously, that hurt his eco quite a bit in early game.
Yeah. It looks like Slam is going to transition into skirms, I think. Or some kind of range unit against the Mamluks.
How do you like CA against Mamelukes?
No, the diggers, yeah. I mean, if you're going to do anything, build skirms. Like, the problem with CA is the same problem with Cavalier, right? You're still... As long as the Mamluks get close, they'll get destroyed. And I think they're missing some important upgrades as well.
I think they're just missing Parthian tactics, but Lithuanian Cav Archers are actually very well upgraded. And as you said, now it's elite Mamelukes. Left side will have a trap war, but that advantage should be on the side of DauT because he's got 2 castles worth of trap production. And there is no way that Rise is able to get through those walls to kill the traps of the opponent.
Yeah, also when DauT builds some bombard cannons as well, he should be able to deal with the traps. Like...
Yeah, that's true as well. He's getting bombard cannons in just now. Organ guns. Oh, they actually keep the gate open. Ram on the way. but welcome to the age of gunpowder, because that's a lot of organ guns.
That is, yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is looking pretty comfortable for the Game Illusion players right now. Interestingly, though, Vodka's sending Mamluks to the other side.
Yeah, that's interesting. As the traps are now focusing down the gate, they're trying to get through the gate. Those Eagles have to do something here. But, I mean, that feels...
Yeah, that's...
I didn't know I installed Age of Empires 3 here, because that feels way too much gunpowder for AoE 2.
Yeah, that was... Oof, yeah.
And there's the Cavalier from Slam as well. So they will just switch sides completely, as that is why the Mamelukes are switching to this side. But 76 army against 47, trade in for Game Legion, and I feel like those... Although the Cavalier isn't really doing a good job at protecting those organ
they're
guns.
actually gonna get wiped, yeah.
Still, I mean, it's so much gunpowder.
Yeah, it's still a good fight, all things considered.
Look at those Mamelukes, man. They are doing work.
Yeah, the problem is that they're great against the Cavalier, but against the organs, they're not doing
Honestly,
terribly.
this might be the first time I ever see organ guns versus Mamelukes, but like, yeah, you're right. Short range, not really a very fast unit. It's more about like having a small amount of strong units like Mamelukes in comparison to like a lot of weak units, and like organ guns and in general gunpowder is great at dealing with like high HP, low numbers of units.
Yeah, definitely.
So,
yeah,
look at the right side now as well. Like there is stone walls up for Vodka, but Slam is already pushing with skirmishers, and Latest on the left side. He is still without relics, I believe.
I think Slam. I saw him pick up one.
Slam has one.
Yeah.
But DauT actually is
DauT's
sitting on
one.
2. He's like, okay, I'm not gonna give the relics to you, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, why would he, man? He needs the gold. He's got 5 TC booming to do, man.
Yeah, that's true as well. It's like, I have 5 TC boom, but I'm gonna need the gold for relics. Sorry, you can't have that for your Cavalier. But it's 79 army against 28, and it looks like the story for Vodka+Rise end over here. DauT+Slam, after a scary game number 1,
Yeah, I mean, scary game number 2 as well.
yeah, indeed.
Yeah, honestly, I think they showed their quality in these last 3 games. Just really good decision making. Game 1 was a little bit off. Like you can tell the synergy wasn't really there, but these games were pretty. I mean, they were close. I mean, and the Italians played really well, but I think they really showed their experience and their quality this series.
Yeah, but I definitely have to give some credit to Vodka+Rise because they were the massive underdogs of this set. So, like, DauT+Slam is actually a very strong, experienced duo together, and Vodka+Rise made this very competitive. So, as I said, game number 1, game number 2, it was a very back and forth game, and then I think by game number 3 and game number 4, maybe just attrition from the Italian team, or maybe just, you know, DauT+Slam really getting warmed up properly meant that they were able to outclass their opponents.
Yeah, definitely. And it felt like, again, the draft was really good for Game Illusion as well, like we said. So it kind of, like this game, for example, and some of the other games really felt like kind of an uphill battle already, just with good drafting.
Yeah, that they weren't really able to punish DauT+Slam for booming like crazy on these 2 maps, and like Forest Pond, and like if you think about the fact that after the water fighting ended on this map, I feel like this played very similarly to Hideout, and they lost to the same thing, just get outboomed and then fall behind in map position.
Yeah. I think this game particularly though shows you that you shouldn't overcommit to the water when you're losing it, you know. Because like the Game Legion players didn't overcommit and they just went 3 TC boom and they just got so far ahead from it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. So Game Legion B survives, and they will play a decider game with the loser of the WWP versus Swords matchup